All right, guys, welcome back to No Filter MMA. This is your boy BJ back with another live stream, guys. I'm joined by my boys John Rialjo and Anthony Geller from Bloody Canvas MMA, one of the best MMA outlets on YouTube. Go subscribe to those guys. What's up, guys?
Listen, I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to join you guys today. It's an honor and a privilege. It means a lot to me. I'm happy to be here, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity.
Okay. If you guys are wondering the sarcasm behind what Mr. Rialjo here.
That was no sarcasm. I was being honest.
Poor Ant, just stuck in the middle, man. But
man, I'm here. I'm just waiting for you to say the name.
What the deal is? Before this podcast, I asked John. I say because I asked Anthony because John is just so busy with tanning and golfing and
tanning.
He's just so busy.
I live in Florida. I go outside in my car. I catch a tan. It's not like it's. Listen, I have been busy. I've been doing some traveling. That is true. I'm just saying, no, it is what it is. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. It means a lot. I'll just leave it.
Those old school tubs of ice cream that had the chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. That's what we look like right now. That's what we look like right now.
Oh shit! What were they called? Now it's gonna buy
Neapolitan ice cream. Here we go, baby. The Neapolitan team. So, guys, I got some questions for you guys. Here we go. Yes, here we go, man.
I'm mad. Hold on. I'm mad at you for saying that because now when I look at the screen, that's all I'm gonna see, and now I want ice cream.
Do you see it?
So I'm mad at you right now.
Can you guess who strawberry is?
I don't want to talk about it. See, this is incredibly hurtful. I just said how happy I was to be here, and then I get called strawberry ice cream.
Hey, man. Some people like strawberry. It's an acquired taste,
That's fair.
Yeah. So, fellas, big fight announcements. KHABIB GAETHJE is set. What were you guys' initial thoughts on? Well, we knew it was coming, of course, but what was your initial thoughts on that, John?
I'm happy that I got booked. There was, oh God, oh my goodness. I was hungry for ice cream. Now I just lost my appetite. But there was a little bit of concern that Khabib wasn't going to fight again. Daniel Cormier kind of made that like a little bit scary, even though we kind of figured that he would end up coming back. So it was just nice to see the fight get booked. It's obviously, a huge fight. I think it's the biggest fight in the lightweight division that doesn't involve Conor McGregor. Huge fight, had to happen, fight to make. Glad it got booked.
Khabib is back, BJ. Khabib is back. John already knew this was going to happen. It was inevitable. Catch a little flack here and there from John, but it's okay because he realizes what's going to happen October 24th when the Eagle lands. Well, not very far. It's going to be in Abu Dhabi, right, or something. The Eagle's going to land. Justin Gaethje's going down, and that's it. That's all I have to say.
That was bold. That was a really like, even I wasn't going that bold. Like, I wasn't even gonna go in that direction. And I'm the heel. You see, the shades are nowhere around. Like, I wasn't gonna go. I guess we have a new character here, man.
Hold on, listen. If you had the shades on and this guy had the wig or whatever you call that thing on, then what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I'd be all. But and also, let me just make it this point. It's not that I'm like anti-Khabib. It's just that Anthony's so far over to one side that me being down in the middle makes me look like I'm a Khabib hater, which is just not the case at all. It's hurtful that I would be, looked at as a Khabib hater. Not the case. I think he has a great chance against Justin Gaethje. It's a great fight.
So you're saying he's going to win, right?
I haven't made my pick yet. Got some time, but I'm certainly not counting him out.
Well, if you had an early prediction right now, who would you pick?
Khabib, just so you have nothing to whine about.
Okay, cool. BJ?
Screw that. Justin Gaethje's going to knock his ass out. Justin Gaethje's going to knock his ass out.
It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening.
We'll see.
Khabib's going to grab that.
I'm glad you guys are doing this.
Back is going to be against the cage, and that's going to be it. That's all she wrote.
We'll see what happens.
Same thing that was going to happen to Mr. El Kukui that everybody was so afraid of.
Oh, I don't know about that one now.
Come on.
Nah, I don't know about that one.
Come on.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one to call.
Come on. All right. Well, we don't need to call it because we've seen what happened.
But the initial, well, we've seen what happened, but that's when, I mean, Tony Ferguson engaged with Justin Gaethje in a striking match. Tony Ferguson isn't known for being a powerful striker. He played into Justin Gaethje's game and he lost. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just is what it is.
Striking though, BJ though. So
that's true. I mean, he has.
I mean, what are we doing here? I'm just saying.
I mean, Khabib's
gonna go out there and make it look incredibly easy. He's gonna get a nice little ruby on that belt of his, and we're gonna probably move on to GSP Khabib, as me and John discussed in our videos on Bloody Canvas.
Yeah,
that's where I agree with that.
But the question that I have, guys, that I've been burning to ask you guys, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to ask you till now. Why is it that when you see matchups like this that happen, you know what I'm saying, like where you have a fighter like Justin Gaethje who comes from one background, anyway, period. You know, you have a fighter like Justin Gaethje against somebody like Khabib, you know what I'm saying? And what I see mostly on social media is, oh, Justin Gaethje is one of the best wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, okay, well, let's slow down a second here. Like, let's slow down a second. Justin Gaethje may be a good wrestler. Like, I'm not taking that away from Justin Gaethje, but you know, Justin Gaethje hasn't wrestled against elite level competition in the UFC. We have not seen that. So, and I feel like Justin Gaethje is kind of suffering from the Yoel Romero effect because everybody talked about, oh, Yoel Romero is wrestling, but we haven't seen Yoel Romero wrestle. You know what I'm saying? Like, so people, it's like, I mean, I don't want to say people hate Khabib, but it seems like people want Khabib to lose so bad that they would go to extremes and say things like Justin Gaethje can out wrestle Khabib. And I'm like, somebody explain this to me.
All right. So I think that I don't think it's that the people want to see Khabib lose, but I think that people want to see Khabib challenged in the wrestling. And the difference between Justin Gaethje and Yoel Romero, which I do agree with, because it's the same situation, right? Where everyone says, oh, Yoel Romero, great wrestler, blah, blah, blah. We never see him wrestle. So I'm done like talking about like, oh, well, if Yoel Romero wrestles Israel Adesanya, then he could win. Like,
right.
Why even bring that up? Because he's not going to wrestle. I've seen it too many times. He's not going to wrestle. And I think the same can be said about Justin Gaethje, where it's like, we're not going to expect him to go in there and use his wrestling in a fight. It's just the proof is in the pudding. We can watch every single one of his fights, and he's not using his wrestling to get the job done. However, the difference is Yoel Romero never really fought a guy who was going to go in there and try to take him down. That was never the game plan of any of Yoel Romero's opponents, where we know Khabib is going to try to take Justin Gaethje down. That's going to be his path to victory. So and now it's like a situation where, okay, you do have this Division I wrestling background. Is that going to be enough for you to use that to win the fight on the feet? Because I think the blueprint to beat Khabib, if there is one, which, you know, everyone can be defeated. So I think that the blueprint to beat Khabib, in my opinion, has always been, and I thought Dustin Poirier was going to do that. He obviously didn't. But I think that in order to beat Khabib, you have to be willing to, it sounds crazy, but you have to be willing to get taken down if it happens. You can't go in there like Conor and be so worried about getting taken down, then you get clipped with a right hand. Because if you're worrying about getting taken down and preventing takedowns and all that stuff, then you're fighting defensively, you're not doing anything, and Khabib is going to beat you. But if you're just saying, listen, it's probable that I'm going to get taken down and I'm going to have to get up or else I'm going to lose this fight, but damn it, I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to fight my fight, and I'm going to strike with him, and I'm not going to get outstruck. Maybe he takes me down and I got to figure things out from there, but I'm not getting outstruck on the feet. And I think Justin Gaethje's wrestling background might give him the confidence that he could potentially defend takedowns while not compromising his striking. And that, to me, is why this is an interesting fight. That, to me, is why Tony Ferguson was an interesting fight, because he wasn't going to be so nervous about getting taken down himself, because he's so good off of his back that I think that would have opened up his striking game, which, you know, I would favor Tony Ferguson, and I would favor Justin Gaethje in just a pure striking battle against Khabib, and their ability with Gaethje's wrestling and with Ferguson's submissions off of his back, that would allow that striking game to get opened up like we did not see Conor McGregor do. That's why I'm interested in this fight, personally.
Yeah. Okay. We got some comments, guys, on what we're talking about. Marcus Bell says Justin has a chance to beat Khabib since he doesn't give a damn.
It's that attitude. It's that attitude. It's that attitude where it's like, screw it. Like, if this guy's going to kill me, he's going to kill me. If he takes me down and smashes me, whatever. But, like, I'm going to fight my fight. That type of attitude is what you're going to need to beat Khabib. Just look at Conor. Like, he fought so defensively. He fought so Poirier fought so defensively, so worried about the takedown that they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything in those fights. I think that Gaethje is like lunatic. Of course it is, but that's why Khabib's one of the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard. It's a hard fight. But
it's like you said, it puts people between a rock and a hard place. Which way do you go? Because some people say, you know, you have to go out there and you have to not give a fuck. But then if you get too reckless, Khabib is going, you know, fighters like Khabib, fighters like Tatiana Suarez, fighters like, you know what I'm saying, GSP, they're going to, if you get reckless on their feet, you know, Curtis Blades, for that matter, they're going to take you down. They're going to take you down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, who can straddle that line? Can Justin Gaethje straddle that line of not giving a fuck and not being too reckless? That's the key to it.
Yeah, it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight. That's why Khabib's one of the best. But you have to be willing to attempt to straddle that line, or else you're just going to get taken down and smashed. And listen, I think if you were to give Justin Gaethje, if you were to say, listen, if you go out aggressively, you have a 50% chance of winning, but you also might get smashed in the first 2 rounds, or you can fight defensively, have like a 20%, a 15% chance of winning, but you might survive longer. I think anyone within their right mind would take that 50% chance, even though it might open you up to losing earlier. Who knows? But I think that type of attitude is what's needed to beat Khabib. And Justin Gaethje is enough of a like beautiful-minded lunatic to go in there and just be like, oh, I'm going to do it. And like that's why I'm interested in the fight.
Go ahead. And what you got to say, bro?
Man, BJ. Me and John had this discussion earlier. I'm going to ask you a question.
Go ahead, bro.
Do you think Khabib is going to break Justin Gaethje like he does every other opponent he's had? Like breaking him morally to the point where he's looking at his corner and he's like...
I mean, you know, the potential of that happening is there because who have we seen take Justin Gaethje down? Like when we see Justin Gaethje get dominated, we see Justin Gaethje get dominated on the feet. We don't see Justin Gaethje get dominated on the ground. That's a different kind of situation to be in. Like that's not the same situation that he was in when he was fighting Dustin Poirier, when he lost that fight to Dustin Poirier. That wasn't the same type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Being taken down and being drained and when you start to develop that 1,000-mile stare like you did, like Edson Barboza did, where he's just staring off into the distance, waiting on the fucking bell to ring. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that potential is there. Like, I mean, we know, like I said, we know Justin Gaethje is a good wrestler, but is he a good enough MMA wrestler at the highest level against the best, arguably the best wrestler in the UFC? Like, that's the question. Like, that's just the big, like, that's really why I wanted to talk to you guys. Like, what would make people say that? You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for that to be. I think that if all I was seeing was people saying, okay, he's gonna knock Khabib out, okay, that's more of a path to victory the way I look at it than, you know what I'm saying, him out wrestling or defending takedowns from Khabib.
Well, you know why you hear that a lot, BJ? Because of all the gym stories and everything we hear. We always hear like all this shit, how great Justin Gaethje is, but we never see it in the octagon. And we're gonna see it. There's no doubt about it. There's no part of me that thinks like, oh, Khabib's just gonna go out there and strike with Justin Gaethje, because that is the wrong one. Of course, Khabib can be ego heavy. We don't know what his mindset is right now with everything that took place. Who knows? But we're going to have some answers, and I'm going to be very surprised if this is like this monumental wrestling that we've all heard of, and he just keeps getting back up to his feet every time Khabib gets him down. But how many times can he do that? Like, that's the thing with Khabib too. He's going to go for like 30 if he can. If he can go for 30 takedowns, he's going to go for it. Simple.
Man, that's it's tough to call, man. Like, it's tough, man. What you got to say, John? I'm not seeing you boiling over there, boy.
No, I mean, it's just like, I think it's something that we'll know. So Anthony asked if we think that Justin Gaethje will get broken. I don't think he will. I don't think his mind, and like in those fights that he lost, like his body failed him, not his mind. Yeah. Like he was there mentally. It just, until he just got hit with enough shots that he was finished, but he was still trying to fight in those fights. And like, I just don't think we're going to see that from Gaethje. But listen, man, I didn't think we were going to see that from Poirier. You know what I'm saying? And like, we did. We flat out did. And I didn't think we were going to see that from Poirier, but I don't know. I think styles make fights, obviously, and I think that Justin Gaethje has the type of skill set to potentially give Khabib trouble. Will it be enough to beat him? I don't know, but certainly Justin Gaethje is the type of fighter. If I were to design someone to match up with Khabib, it would be someone like Justin Gaethje.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see that. I see that. I see what you're saying, man. I see your point. Another question that I want to have is that if Justin Gaethje does stuff the takedowns, if he can stuff one or two of those takedowns, where does Khabib go on the feet? Like, that's the question. Like, Khabib is, I mean, I wouldn't call Khabib a bad striker. He's a solid striker. He's not an elite level striker. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, he does the basics. He does the basics very well. He knows how to use the basics to do what it is that he needs to do. But if the fight plays out like that, how does it play out?
More than likely, man, if Khabib is gonna do what he normally does, he'll go the other route and use the strikes as pressure and try to get him as close to the fence as he can. And he's going to lunge for that leg, whether it's the ankle, the knee, or whatever. If he can get a wrist, whatever it might be. But other than that, BJ, I honestly don't have an answer for you, because Justin Gaethje is not someone that's going to get distracted easily. First, right. Conor McGregor, he's not going to get emotional.
And if Khabib can't take Justin Gaethje down, he's going to lose the fight. He's going to lose.
You think so?
100%. 100%. Look at what it took to beat Justin Gaethje on the feet from Eddie Alvarez and from Dustin Poirier. Just watch that. And like, tell me that you're confident in Khabib's ability to do that on the feet. If he takes him down, different ball game. But I don't think that Khabib can stand there. And that was, Justin Gaethje 1.0. This is Justin Gaethje 2.0. You watch what he did to Tony Ferguson, how he was just piecing him up. I'm sorry. Khabib has no chance if he can't take Justin Gaethje down. No chance.
And Khabib is not as bad of a DJ. Hold on, DJ. Hold on. We have not seen how Justin Gaethje responds to damage on the ground yet. How does he react when he's getting smashed over and over again for 2 rounds until Khabib at least trains himself? Is he going to be able to take that, or is we going to have a Herb Dean situation going on?
That's the truth. That is the truth, bro.
Especially now, like the way the world is, everybody's trying to be super precautious.
You know, we don't know. We don't know. We've never seen Justin Gaethje dominated on the ground. We've never really seen Justin Gaethje on the ground. Maybe a scramble here and there, but that's really.
I don't remember. I can't think of a scramble. I thought maybe Michael Johnson went to take him down, but I don't even think that happened.
Yeah, I think he may have attempted one takedown on Justin Gaethje, but at that time when he fought Michael Johnson, the buzz was so, oh, Justin Gaethje's an excellent wrestler. You know, maybe Michael Johnson didn't. I can't remember. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that buzz for me, that buzz is kind of wore off. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, you know, if the fight is first of all, shout out to Stamina MC, London Calling. But you know, when you think about Khabib striking, he definitely has power in his strikes. He has power in his overhand right. You know what I'm saying? But the question is, like, on the feet is, you know, will that be enough against a sniper like Justin Gaethje? Like, can Khabib get it off quick enough? That's what I'm saying. Like, if he's forced to stand, will we be looking at like a third round Nina Ansaroff, Tatiana Suarez type situation? You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, what would we be looking at? Hold on, right here, right, 1 second. Stamina MC says, I agree with John. Khabib doesn't have a plan B that we've seen. I can't imagine him entirely abandoning one thing that set him apart from every other athlete breathing.
100%. And that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, he's so good at what he does that, like, he doesn't have to. Thank goodness. He's never really had to, like, go into his bag of tricks unless he's been so far ahead in a fight. And it's like, all right, I'll strike with you for a little while because, you know, I know if I need to, I can just take you down. If I get in any trouble, like, you know, we're going to say, okay, we're done here. And again, I think it's very possible that Khabib goes in there, takes Justin Gaethje down, smashes him, and that's how the fight goes. I think that is entirely possible. But what I'm saying is, if Justin Gaethje is stuffing takedowns, Khabib is in a lot of trouble because just purely striking, we have seen nothing from either of these guys that would lead you to believe that Khabib would be able to finish Justin Gaethje in a purely striking battle. Now, if Khabib goes in there and smashes him for 2 rounds and then has trouble taking him down in like the 3rd round and then maybe clips him in the 4th, perhaps, for sure. But if there isn't an accumulation of damage from takedowns and it's purely striking, Justin Gaethje's walking out of there with that belt, and I am for damn sure about that.
Well, Marcus Bell says in the comment section, no one has been able to turn Khabib into a striker.
100%.
That is also very important.
Agreed. I agree 100%. But, and that's what I'm saying. And I think that's where Justin Gaethje's wrestling comes into play, where it's like, okay, if he can take or stuff Khabib's takedowns, well, then now that opens up his striking where he can certainly win the fight, probably will win the fight. It's just a hard mountain to climb. It's a hard mountain to climb, man. It ain't going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. I think it's, you know, somewhat unlikely that it happens, but I think that more so than anyone that Khabib has fought recently, Justin Gaethje's skill set matches up to the type of fighter that can give him problems. And mentality's included in this. The willingness to just say, you know, how Justin Gaethje's like, you know, I'm going to war, like I'm ready to die, like all that kind of stuff. Like that type of attitude, man, translates. That translates. And he's not going to be afraid of getting taken down by Khabib. And if he is, then I'm wrong. He's going to lose. Whatever. It's happened before where I've been wrong. But if he's willing to like potentially accept getting taken down and just says, screw it, and I'm going to stand there and I'm going to strike with Khabib, he absolutely has the ability to finish Khabib. And if he's stuffing takedowns, he's going to win the fight. It's just a hard task. It's a hard ask. You know, it's tough to do. It's tough to do, but we'll see what happens. And that's why, you know, it's an intriguing fight.
It's an interesting fight. And then that's the thing, just we are saying all this and he can very well just do what he did at 242. And then that's it. And how many times have we seen Khabib get ballsy with the striking? I mean, Ally Quinta.
That's what I'm saying.
He had that little standoff with Dustin Poirier where it got me a little scared, and then he wanted to strike a little with Conor.
But that's different though, because that was after he'd already taken those guys down and smashed them.
He was in control already.
He gets cocky with his striking sometimes.
Yeah.
He'd proven that he can take fighters down. And you don't think that the guys that he was fighting in that situation after have already been taken down were thinking about, oh man, here we go again. I'm gonna get taken down. And then that's when you drop your hands, that's when you get clipped like Conor, all that kind of stuff. Listen, man, if it was like a Muay Thai fight between Justin Gaethje and Khabib, who wins? Justin Gaethje, 100%. 100%, right? Like, it's not even worth debating. So if he can turn it into that style of fight and stuff those takedowns and not really, obviously respect the takedowns, but not just be like quivering in the corner where it's like, dropping your hands because you're worried about getting taken down. If he just goes out there and fights, again, very difficult to ask someone to do that. But if he's able to do that, he can certainly win this fight 100%.
And I gotta be honest with you guys. You guys know I'm a huge Khabib fanboy. But one of the biggest strengths going into Justin Gaethje's like whole side going into this fight is his corner. I mean, his coach Trevor Whitman. If that's going to be in mind to help you beat Khabib Nurmagomedov and the team of AKA, that's the man right there. If you like, who else would it be?
Man, I mean, I just don't know if that's going to be enough, man. But then again, you got to factor in what's going on with Khabib outside of the octagon, with his father passing and all that stuff going on. You got to factor all that stuff in, you know what I'm saying? But
that's the narrative me and John spoke of earlier that we don't want to happen. Where if Khabib was to lose, we're going to hear it's because of his father and he wasn't in the right set of mind, where in all reality, Justin Gaethje is just that good.
Right. I mean, some people will call that a built-in excuse. You know what I'm saying? That if Khabib loses, he's going to say, it was his father and whatnot. But that very well could be, the, what's happening here, you know what I'm saying? But, so if Khabib wins this fight, now Dana White saying he's open to GSP versus Khabib. What were you guys' initial thoughts about that?
I'm in.
Look at Ant. Ant's not with it.
I'm in, and here's why. There's only one reason why I'm in for it. Because Khabib has come out and said that it's his last fight. The problem that I would have with Khabib versus GSP, right? So let's assume he gets through Justin Gaethje, he's 29-0, and he wants to retire 30-0, go out with a fight against GSP. The problem that I would have with that fight would be what happens if GSP wins, right? Like, because he's not going to defend the belt, right? So it's going to be a vacant title. Like, you're kind of just like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, at that point, it's like, okay, what's going on with the title? However, if you have Khabib saying this is my last fight, win or lose, then that Khabib is going to vacate the title regardless. So it doesn't really matter who he's fighting against if you know that there's a chance that title gets vacant anyway. So I'd be in for it. We'll see what happens. I think that is a potential fight where it's like GOAT. I think GOAT is on the line potentially for that fight, especially for GSP. If GSP comes back, but right now I consider John Jones the GOAT. If GSP comes back and beats Khabib, he is the GOAT. I don't want to hear about John Jones anymore in GOAT conversation. Like, it's GSP.
I agree. I agree with that, man. I do. So let's see. Let's read this comment. Stamina MC says, it don't even need to be about stuff and takedowns. Gaethje has good leg kicks, knees, and uppercuts. So he can immobilize Khabib and also punish him whenever he shoots. No one has threatened that yet.
Well, I got to tell you something, BJ. Edson Barbosa tried the head kicking game, the leg kicking game, and Khabib just said, I'm going to keep walking forward and pick my leg up a little bit and keep walking forward and keep walking forward.
Bro, I was getting ready to say that. And who better of a striker than Edson Barbosa? Who better of a striker than Edson Barbosa?
I mean, we got Aldo, Barboza, and Gaethje when it comes to leg kicks. And as far as I know, a lot of people are still putting Edson up there because, I mean, we haven't seen Aldo do it in years. Well, with Jan until we started getting brutalized.
Oh yeah, yeah. Real quick, Marcus Bell wrote something about Mike Tyson in the comment section, guys. I wanted to get your thoughts on Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson. What do you just quick little insert before we move to Costa Adesanya?
John, the floor is yours.
This is crazy.
Listen,
I can't believe I'm talking.
BJ, you like the shirt?
I love it, dude. I absolutely. I wish. You know what? Do they make it in 2X, bro?
Oh yeah.
I need one of those. I need one of those, bro. I got you.
So
John,
I see. So I see. Shut up. So I see the. No, I am. It's not that I'm too good for that. It's just I'm not interested.
Well, are you? Wait. 1 second. Like, I thought you were an MMA guy. Like, you don't want to represent the best. Like the best people. I would so wear Stipe Miocic's shirt because Stipe Miocic is one of the best. So why wouldn't you wear a Khabib shirt, bro?
Yeah, Joe.
Like, just asking.
Yeah.
Listen.
You don't want to support the cause of the sport?
No, you know what the thing is? I have like a little bit of frustration level with Khabib, Conor, and Tony Ferguson for just how slow that division has been moving over the past couple of years. Whereas, like, I don't hate either of them or any of them. Like, I don't root against them, but I'm not wearing their shirts. Is that fair?
What if it was a Lioness shirt? Could I get you to wear it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll wear a Nunes shirt. My birthday's coming up next month. You could just buy it for me for my birthday.
I'll think about it.
So back to Mike Tyson. Now I see the comment says Mike Tyson versus Conor McGregor. And I'm glad there's an LOL there. I'm glad because that's how I feel about it too. Like, I'm not interested in that whatsoever. But Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. Listen, I am someone who finds himself getting very captivated by like weird and like freak show stuff. Like, you know, what's the
is this freak show stuff though? It kind of
really
is.
Who's on the card again? I forgot who's on.
Is Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson?
Oh my god!
Like, come
By the
like
way,
I'm
Nate Robinson's gonna destroy him.
I'm
watching that. Yeah, I'm all in on that.
Like when Jake Paul, when Jake Paul or the other Paul, whatever Paul, when one of the Pauls fought that dude KSI or whatever, it's like these two YouTube guys, and it's like, listen, I knew who the Paul brothers were. I knew who the Paul brothers were, but I had no idea who KSI was, and like, I didn't care. Like, who cares? Like, they're talking trash to each other, they're fighting. It's like, all right, I'm in. I'll watch it. Like, I'm not gonna try to like watch this every weekend. Like, it's not like I would watch it religiously like I watch MMA, but like once in a while, you give me like an old ass Mike Tyson versus an old ass Roy Jones Jr. I'm in. You give me Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul or the other Paul, Ron Paul, I don't know, one of the Pauls. You give me Nate Robinson versus that guy, I'm in. One time only? Hell yeah. I'm all in on that. I'm all in.
John, I have a question though.
Slow down.
Considering the age and the physical conditions and stuff, and I mean, by all means, the last time we seen Roy Jones in the boxing ring, it didn't look good. I don't think it's the best idea to put him in front of someone like Mike Tyson, who is still liable to.
Listen,
oh my God!
Listen, I'm
saying from a moral standpoint.
What I'm saying is, if they get, you know, the green light by the commission, they're cleared to fight, all that kind of stuff, right? And we're good to go. And we get in there, and Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. is a sloppy body, ugly fight where they're just, you know, gasping for air after the first round. I'm all in on that. I'm cool with that. Like it's not gonna ruin my night to see that. Like I'm not like it'd be a bit sad for sure, but like it's like whatever. Come on, you're not interested in that at least a little bit. Now I gotta admit, I'll check myself a little bit because I hated Chuck versus Tito 3. I hated that. I could not stand that fight. I absolutely hated that fight. To me, that fight did not happen. There's no way. Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz fought twice in their careers. I don't give a damn. That third fight never happened. So maybe easy. So maybe, but Chuck Liddell got me into MMA. But, you know, if I get that Roy Jones Jr. didn't look all that great, but like at the same time, all that
great. He didn't look like he was alive when he was laying on that canvas, man. I'm sorry. This guy is, and Mike Tyson, he looks great. He just looks great. And the way he's hitting them mitts and everything. I was all for the whole eat. Remember there was a little teaser and rumor it was going to be him and Evander Holyfield. I was all for that. Roy Jones.
Me too. No. Yeah, Roy Jones, no.
Roy Jones. It's just it's not going to happen, John.
So are you rooting for Mike Tyson to just go in there and knock his ass out, or you know Roy Jones to go in there and knock his ass out, whatever, or are you rooting for just like them to just stay alive? Like what are you rooting for? I'm interested.
At this point, in all seriousness, I'm rooting for them to fucking walk out of that ring okay. Like that's it. That's it.
Yeah, of course.
And especially I'm pretty sure once Mike Tyson started getting like unrusty and all that, like them angles and all that started coming back to him pretty quick. So that technique is going to be there whenever the hell that's happening. When is it? September?
Yeah. Listen, my ideal fight is by the second round. These guys can't even pick up their arms and they're there.
Andy Ruiz.
Yeah, Andy Ruiz leaking out there, just sweating, just extra going on, just trying to survive. Like I would be all in for that type of madness. Like that for me, like when I'm not watching fighters who are like trying to build towards titles or like build their careers, and you have guys like that, it's kind of weird because they're both legends. But like when I'm just like seeing just like two, you know, older guys or two like not so seasoned guys going into a fight, and we get a fight like that, and it looks like, you know, Rocky versus Apollo in the 15th round. Like, and they're just dying out there for the entire fight. Oh, sign me up for that. Once or twice a year, a fight like that. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Like,
I'm all in.
Roy Jones going to come out hot in the first round, taunting the whole time, and then he's gassed by the second. Like,
I'm all in. I'm all in.
All right, guys, let's catch up on these comments. You guys are fucking crazy. All right, so let's see. Question: if Kane hadn't got hurt and retired, this is from Reggie the Tree. If Kane hadn't got hurt and retired, would he be in the GOAT discussion without debate? He was my favorite. I think Prime Kane beats up Stipe because of his work rate. Any thoughts? That's a stiff one, dude. Like that's a hard statement to make, man. You know, I don't think that Kane in his prime beats a Stipe Miocic. I just don't.
Not this Stipe. Not the one that cracks his gloves on the walkout. I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough call. Maybe if it was just a bunch of pressure and wrestling and pressure, yeah. But
right.
Especially if he tries to blame a knee or something, you know.
Right.
Tough call.
I gotta be honest. I disagree with you guys.
Really?
I think Kane would be in the GOAT conversation. Yeah, I do. So you look at his
little smirk there that you just fixed on your face. Are you bullshitting or are you
no 100%? 100%, dude. You look at you. So he loses to JDS, right? He gets knocked out by JDS. His other, like, let's exclude the Francis Ngannou loss for a second, right?
Right. I mean, who isn't gonna get killed by Francis at this point?
So he loses. Right. He loses to Fabricio Verdum in a fight that is fought on the moon and there's no air, and he didn't know that, and he didn't prep for that, and he took that fight after like almost 2 years off, and he's fighting, gasping for air. He gets caught trying to have a takedown. He gets caught in a guillotine, gets submitted. Like, that's like I don't want to say a fluky loss, but that's kind of like a fluky loss. And you know what I'm saying? It's kind of iffy. And we've seen what happened in the first round or 2 rounds when Cormier fought Stipe the last time. Cormier wrestled the shit out of Stipe for those first 2 rounds until he thought that he was Mike Tyson, and then he got hit with all those body shots, right? So you mean to tell me that it's out of the realm of possibility that Cain Velasquez could do that to Stipe? Prime Cain Velasquez?
It's not out of the realm of possibility, but a lot of people forget Stipe comes from a pretty good wrestling background as well. And Cain, I don't think Cain is as good of a wrestler as DC. So,
I think it's close.
That's kind of a toss-up. You know what I'm saying? Him versus Stipe is a toss-up. Stipe is one of those fighters, man, and he's proved over and over again. He's one of those fighters that you just can't count out. Like, you can't just throw Stipe to the side, because 9 times out of 10 Stipe gonna win. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure,
it's hard to pick against Stipe, man.
But when we're talking about a situation where like we're not sure, like prime Cain versus Stipe, it's a toss up, and Stipe's 1 win away from being the greatest heavyweight of all time, like for sure. And we're now saying that Cain and him would be a toss-up. Like, it's certainly possible that Cain Velasquez could have been that dude, like, for sure. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's possible.
At what point do you think we seen prime Cain? Because nothing against the guy, but it's not that hard to look great against Bigfoot Silver or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Like, what are we talking? Are we talking about Brock Lesnar, JDS Cain? I mean, Travis Brown's in there too, but he isn't no title challenger or anything.
Yeah, I mean, those JDS fights were great.
Wars.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but that's the problem. It's kind of Cain Velasquez's career is just like a big what if in a lot of ways.
It really is
hard.
Yep.
It's hard. It's a hard question to answer. I for sure agree with that. But I mean, JDS has a win over Stipe, and Cain beat him 2 out of 3.
But Stipe got it back in probably in better fashion.
For sure. But I'm saying like they're like all in that same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That same bucket. Yeah. All right, let's look at these comments, guys. We got a lot of comments. After Roy Jones and Mike Tyson fight, both would need their AARP card. Ha! That's a good one, Marcus Bell. Stamina MC says, I agree on Chuck versus Tito too. I used one of those light pins. One of those light pins the guys from Men in Black had on myself.
Smart guy right there. That's a smart guy right there.
Smart guy.
That's a smart guy right there.
Marcus Bell says, I'm going for a decision based on either Roy Jones or Mike Tyson catching arthritis. And Reggie said, great point. I don't know who Reggie was talking to when he said great point. 9 times out of 10, he was probably talking to me, but it is what it is. But guys, okay, so say what?
Can BJ, stop bullshitting. Let's get to Adesanya Costa, please. This is why we're here.
You sound like you have had something growing and brewing inside of you.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm sick of people thinking Adesanya is going to go out there and pull a Matrix on Costa, and it's going to look easy.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you so much, bro. I don't understand why people are believing that is going to happen. Like, okay, let's slow down here. Let's slow down. Slow down the train tracks a little bit. Let's slow down enough so your brain has time to process things the right way it's supposed to be processed. Now let's look at fights let's look at the most recent fights with both of these guys. We see in the Kelvin Gastelum fight with Israel Adesanya that Kelvin Gastelum was able to close the distance, use his range, and catch Israel Adesanya multiple times in this fight. But now it seems like all of a sudden that he's facing Paulo Costa, who is the most dangerous opponent he's ever faced. Then
who's apparently going to stand in the middle of the octagon and not move.
Right. Yeah. Now all of a sudden Israel Adesanya can't be hit. Explain the logic, John. Explain the logic. Don't come with no bullshit.
Listen, I mean,
pressure's on you, sir.
The pressure's on me. What are you talking about?
The pressure's on you.
I'll be vindicated when Israel Adesanya goes in there and pieces up over emotional Paulo Costa, who's beaten who? Yoel Romero, one good win. Uriah Hall, the roller coaster that is Uriah Hall, old ass Johnny Hendricks. That's it, right? So he's got I'm sorry, Uriah Hall. You know,
I mean, Izzy, Derek Bumson, Anderson Silva, who should have been retired by now.
He beat Anderson Silva. I mean, come on, he beat.
He beat. I mean, let's be real here. I thought we slowed down the tracks here. He beat a broken Robert Whittaker. He beat a Robert Whittaker who wasn't ready.
Izzy's best win in his early career was Marvin Vettori.
Okay, hold on a second. Why was Robert Whittaker broken?
Robert Whittaker was coming off of an 18-month layoff, bro. You can't honestly say that was the best Robert Whittaker. If Robert Whittaker that just fought Darren Till was in that octagon with Israel Adesanya, that would have been a completely different fight, John, and you know it. You know it, John. You know it.
No, I don't. But hold on. So everyone was saying that Robert Whittaker had some lasting effects of fighting Yoel Romero, right? Like that's like a common take out there.
Everyone knows that. Yeah.
All right. Who did Yoel Romero just fight? Not Adesanya, because that fight doesn't count. Not that fight. That fight doesn't count. But before that, Paulo Costa, his last fight,
dropped him and
he got smashed in that fight. Paulo Costa got hit too. Great fight for sure. Best 3-round fight of 2019. He got hit. Paulo Costa got hit.
Yeah, he got hit after he fell from the look over there.
Sure, but dude, he got hit. He hit Yoel Romero too. Don't get me wrong, but he got hit hard in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. There's something that makes me a little bit uneasy about how over emotional Paulo Costa comes out and appears. And when you're fighting a sniper like Adesanya and you're going in there winging shots, listen, I think that there's a chance that Israel Adesanya is, Jai Herberted on the canvas for sure. I think that that's a possibility. However, I think Adesanya. I think that we're just like. I think dismissing Israel Adesanya is absolutely crazy.
I'm not dismissing Israel. Well, okay, I swear I'm not dismissing Israel Adesanya. He's a great fighter. He's a great point style fighter. He's great at that. I'm looking at styles here. You know what I'm saying? Just the way, I'm looking at styles in this fight the same way I look at styles when I'm talking Young Jacek versus Weili or Tatiana versus Andrade. I'm looking at the styles. I'm looking at what they have done in their past fights. We all know that Robert Whittaker is chinny ever since those fights with Yoel Romero. Robert Whittaker is chinny now.
Is he?
What I'm saying?
No pun
yes, he is. Yes, he is chinny now after those fights. Let me look how easily Darren Till dropped him in the first round. Robert Whittaker is chinny.
That was a hard elbow.
It was a hard elbow.
That was a hard elbow, BJ. I gotta admit.
It was a hard elbow. I'm just saying, he's good
elbow.
But when you look at the fight with Kelvin Gastelum, you know what I'm saying? I mean, when you look at the fights that Izzy has had, Izzy hasn't really hit people with the type of punches that he hadn't hit people with the type of punches that Paulo Costa hits people with, man. Like when Paulo Costa hit you, man, you can hear when he hit Uriah Hall, man. I mean, you could just hear those punches radiating through Uriah Hall's body. You know what I'm saying? And Johnny Hendricks, he hurt Johnny Hendricks. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Stamina MC says BJ is fucking wilding now. Yeah, of course he gets full credit for the Robert Whittaker win. I'm not saying he doesn't, but Robert Whittaker is chinny. He's chinny, and you get caught like that. If you're leaving yourself wide open like that, you're gonna get caught.
Let me ask you this: if you take out the Adesanya fight, and you never saw that fight, and you watched the Yoel Romero fight, and then you watched the Darren Till fight, would you say that Robert Whittaker was chinny, or would you say that he got dropped by a hard elbow from Darren Till? We're just saying you're just saying chinny because of what Adesanya did.
In the second by the time the second Yoel Romero fight came around, I think the first Yoel Romero fight is when he took the most damage he's ever taken in his career, and that fight, and then he went through the war in the second fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a little more chinny in the second fight. Like, he got dropped a few more times. I think the second fight was a little more controversial than the first fight. You know what I'm saying? Because, that was the closer fight because of how many times Whittaker got rocked in that fight. He got rocked a few times in that fight. And then he goes from that to an injury and then into a fight with one of the best kickboxers ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
emergency surgery, sir. You forgot the emergency surgery. Oh
yeah, then he cut weight, and then he had the emergency surgery from the Kelvin Gastelum fight. Like, that what we saw this past weekend, that is Robert Whittaker. What we saw in Israel Adesanya was not Robert Whittaker. It just wasn't. You look at Adesanya, right?
Talk to him, John.
You look at these comments are rolling.
Yeah, right. Dude,
I'm
I'm so happy that I'm getting, like, there's these comments in here because there's some sort of sanity going on. Because listen, you look at Adesanya, right? His come up in the UFC. His second UFC fight was against Marvin Vettori, who's like obviously not like the cream of the crop, but for your second UFC fight, a guy like Marvin Vettori,
that's a good fight.
And it ended up being a split decision, but he won that fight. And Tavares in your third fight, Brunson in your fourth fight, the Silva fight, it is what it is. That's like, let's just exclude that. Let's not give him credit. Let's not take it away. We know all the emotion going on and all that. Take that fight away. And then the Gastelum fight, you could spin it where it was, okay, Gastelum hit him and, was able to connect. And if Paulo Costa does that, but like, those are different body styles. Gastelum has a wrestling pedigree that Paulo Costa doesn't bring. And you could say that Adesanya, whatever happened through those first 4 rounds, that 5th round, I don't care, man. That still gives me goosebumps what he was able to do. And to go into that, just to find that, that's special. That is special. I mean, just put yourself back in that moment, in that 5th round, and what happened.
Which fight?
Adesanya Gastelum in that 5th round. When he dug that deep and he came out in the 5th round and just did that. Like, it takes special fighters to do that. And Gastelum never been the same.
But that was against somebody. That was against Kelvin Gastelum.
You're saying that based off of how Kelvin Gastelum's looked in his last few fights, not the Kelvin Gastelum that earned that title shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not been the same dude since that fight. You see what I'm saying?
But can Izzy survive to the 5th round in a fight with somebody like Paulo?
Okay.
Can Izzy? The question I want you to answer this question: can Izzy make it out of the 2nd round with Paulo Costa? Can he survive Can he survive? Think about it. Think about it hard. Can he survive an onslaught, multiple onslaughts from Paulo Costa?
Absolutely not. If he stands there like a punching bag. If he stands there like a punching bag. But if he's Israel Adesanya and is able to move shots, can Paulo Costa survive a first round where he's winging shots at Israel Adesanya and Adesanya is not there and he's just swinging and he's not touching Adesanya?
Nah, I don't.
That's the thing, John. That's hold on, John.
Paulo Costa going to be like.
If you know Paulo Costa, he's not going head hunting. That's going to be a whole lot of body work. And how much can Adesanya absorb to the body to the point where he's going to be able to continue to move around like that, like he would in the first round. In every single one of Paulo Costa's fights, he works the body before he goes to the head.
All right, you know what? You guys are right. From now on, whoever's the hardest hitter in any fight.
We didn't say that. I didn't say that.
We didn't say that.
That's exactly what you're saying. You're saying, can Israel Adesanya survive getting hit from Paulo Costa? Well, can Paulo Costa survive getting hit from Israel Adesanya?
It's not just about the power though, but when you have a matchup where power is such a weapon from one side of the fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, okay, let's say Valentina goes into a fight with Jillian Robinson. Valentina's going to have to worry about being taken down by Jillian Robinson because that is the strength that Jillian Robinson puts forward. The strength that Paulo Costa, his main strength in his arsenal is his speed and his power. So that is like you're talking about the accuracy of Israel Adesanya, but what about the speed and the power of Paulo Costa? That is a factor here. It's like that's not a factor. That's a factor.
Sure, and that's why it's a great fight. But like, I don't think it's not just like the fact that Paulo Costa is going to go in there and just like steamroll through Izzy with body shots and like Israel Adesanya loses this fight, 8 times out of 10. I think that's crazy talk. I think it's crazy talk. And like, is Israel Adesanya, can he hit hard enough to knock out Paulo Costa? Absolutely. So what are we talking about? Like if Israel Adesanya is able to avoid shots early and not, you know what I'm saying? And we know Paulo Costa is the more emotional fighter in this fight. 100%, not even debatable. What does he look like after the first round if it's frustrating for him? Does he overextend and take a shot and then that's it? Like that is certainly possible. 100%.
Do you think he's emotional or do you think that's overconfidence? Because I'll be honest, I think it's a bit overconfidence rather than anything.
I do too.
Either one is bad. It's the same thing. If he's overconfident in his striking and he overextends against a sniper like Israel Adesanya, I think that Adesanya's style is the worst type of matchup for Paulo Costa. You put him in there with another meathead like Yoel Romero and they're just going to bang heads against the wall, then Paulo Costa is going to come out probably on top a bunch of the times. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what happened in that fight. John. That's what happens in that.
Let me ask you this question. Okay, let's say that Izzy is super.
Stamina MC is a smart guy. Let me just say that. He's a smart guy.
No, Stamina MC need to be quiet.
Smart guy.
Stamina MC need to be quiet is what he need to be quiet. That's what he need to do. But this is what I'm gonna say, man. Like, okay, let's say for instance, Izzy is super evasive round 1 and 2, and he is making Paulo miss. What is Izzy gonna land What is he going to land on Paulo Costa, who has an iron fucking chin? What is he going to land on Paulo that's going to hurt him? If Yoel dropped him, Yoel didn't finish Paulo, but if Yoel couldn't knock him out, what is Izzy going to hit him with that's going to put him away? Izzy's going to get hit, Paulo's going to get hit. When you look at what each other can hit each other with, whose strike do you believe means more? Whose strike means more?
All I'm going to say is Yoel Romero couldn't do it in 10 rounds. I did it in 2. I'm pretty sure I saw someone sitting on top of an octagon saying that. All I'm saying. But like, you mean to tell me that Israel Adesanya can't knock out Paulo Costa? Like you don't think?
I don't think so.
Oh my!
I don't think so. I don't think he has that type of power.
Let me ask you this.
DJ isn't speaking for me, by the way. I just want to put that up.
What does Paulo Costa look like in the 4th and 5th round? We ain't seen it. We've never seen it. We've never seen him past the 2nd round other than the Yoel Romero fight. What's he look like in the 4th and 5th round? Because I know that Israel Adesanya can dig deep in the 5th round and pull out a rabbit from the hat and get the job done.
Can he dig deep from taking?
Who's Paulo's coach, John?
What?
Who's Paulo's coach?
Eric Albarracin. Great coach. Great coach.
Who are the champions under Eric?
Triple C, Patricio Pitbull.
That's it.
Okay, that's sure. It. And he also coaches
Kayla Harrison.
Kayla Harrison trains at ATT. He also coaches that Arya Stark girl that got smashed her last time in Bellator. Just because he's a great coach, fantastic coach, one of the best coaches in MMA. That doesn't mean that his fighters are going to win every fight.
But he's a beast, and look at what he did with Paulo. Look at what he's brought. Look at where he's brought in Paulo.
I went from thinking that this was like a very close 50-50 fight, but for the next month, or 2 months, whatever it is, I'm all in on Israel Adesanya. You guys have backed me into the corner, and I'm fighting my way out. Listen,
I don't see it, man. I just don't see it. Like, I mean, you guys can go back, look through my archives, and go back from when I first started saying, you know, a year and a half ago that maybe 2 years ago that, hey, these two need to fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Who would win this fight? When the hype started getting big for Israel Adesanya, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, he's good, but there's also a guy in this division named Paulo Costa who is a fucking murderer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get everybody likes Izzy. I get it, man. Like, he's a great fighter, man. Izzy's a great fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, he does things well. For him to put Robert Whittaker away was absolutely high level shit, because as we've seen this past weekend, Robert Whittaker is a very high level fighter. You know, for him to put him away like that, that's very impressive. But it's just, you know, there's a certain feeling that you get when certain people step into the octagon, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you just feel like, you know, I don't know, just like something bad's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? And when you see Paulo Costa walking into the octagon, it's just like something bad somebody's about to get hurt, and there's nothing that they can do about it. It's kind of like when you see KHABIB walk in, and it's like KHABIB is about to fuck somebody's world up, and there's absolutely nothing that they can do about it. Just like he getting ready to do Justin Gaethje. He getting ready to fuck Justin Gaethje's world up, and there ain't gonna be nothing that Justin Gaethje can do about it. It's the same with Paulo Costa. I've always thought that when it came to this fight. I'm like, dude, Paulo Costa. I'm not saying, you know, someone said in the comment section that I'm speaking like it's a foregone conclusion. I'm not speaking like it's a foregone conclusion. I'm just saying when I see that matchup. No, but I'm also saying that I see that Izzy maybe could outpoint him in this fight if Izzy can tire Paulo Costa out. Absolutely, that's a path to victory, but that's a very slim, very narrow path to victory. Versus this path to victory for Paulo Costa is much, 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 much bigger. Like, the path is much bigger for Paulo Costa. It's here for Izzy.
I think it's the other way around. In my opinion, it's Paulo Costa has to knock him out. That's his path to victory. For Adesanya, he could potentially frustrate him and have him overextend and get a finish himself. He could potentially, if it comes down to like a point fighting contest, Adesanya is going to win that one. So there you go with that. Like, I actually think Adesanya has more paths to victory than Paulo Costa. I mean, on the ground, who the hell knows if the fight gets there? I don't know. But like,
so if the fight goes to the ground, Paulo Costa is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So if the fight goes to the ground, the advantage goes to Paulo Costa. And then right here in the comment section, Stamina says,
"No, I've never thought of that. I never thought of that in my life.
Yes,
I would have never known that Paulo Costa had a black belt in Brazil. Who the hell is he wrapping himself around with his giant ass limbs? Like,
that's so funny. So Stamina MC says knockouts are about precision more than power. So so Paulo Costa is a very accurate striker.
Guess what, sir? Hold on. One name, sir. Francis Ngannou.
All right. Sure.
Where's the precision there?
I mean, he landed clean on Overeem's chin. I mean, fine. If you're Francis Ngannou, if you're the hardest hitting, you know, safety in the league, then fine, go for it. But like, it is more about precision. Like,
is it?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's some shocks, man, that people just die. I mean, we seen it on Saturday with Francisco Trinaldo. He hit him right in the forehead, and down goes Frazier.
Yeah, sure. You can knock somebody out from power only, but like you can also, if you touch a person in the right spot, like they're going to sleep too. Yeah. Like it's, you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
What are we doing here?
I think this is a great fight. I think this is a great fight. And I think that this is much more of an intriguing matchup in skill set than you guys think it is.
I truthfully just think Paulo's about to walk him down, hit him with some body work, and Izzy's gonna be like, oh no. And then before he realizes it, the doctor's gonna shine the lights in his eyes. I'm sorry, John. If you'd like to put a friendly wager on it, I'd be more than willing to.
What do you want to do?
$20, Paulo.
I don't think that's a good idea because I mean, John.
Why?
I think you need to keep your money, bro. I think you need your money.
Why is that?
I think you need your money. I don't think you need to bet because you'll probably end up losing that money, bro.
No, let's bet a shirt. Let's bet a shirt.
Let's bet a shirt. Yeah, fine.
I'll bet with both of you guys on a shirt.
I'll get Paulo wins, you gotta wear the Khabib shirt.
I was thinking that like, I'll make bets with both of you guys where if
nope.
A shirt bet. All right, Anthony.
That is a shirt bet.
That is a shirt bet.
But I'm saying like I'll buy you a shirt. I mean, you want me to buy myself a Khabib shirt, wear it one time, and then just toss it? Because that's what's going to happen. I'll fulfill my obligation, but I'm just tossing that. Like I'm not wearing that shirt more than one time. Or I could buy you a shirt that you would wear forever, but inevitably you'll buy me a shirt that I'll wear for a fair amount of time.
Well, how about we put a little clause in the belt? In the bet that if whatever shirt we buy, you have to record a live podcast and you have to wear it.
100%. But I'm saying, but we got to decide this now. Is it a situation where it's like, okay, I'll wear a Khabib shirt, I'll wear the wig if I have to for one time, but like I'm not keeping that. I'm tossing that. That thing's.
Why can't you keep it though?
Why would I? I'm not going to wear it. Other than whatever I do.
When he beats George St. Pierre, and you could be like, "Oh shit, I have the GOAT shirt."
We'll iron the bet out. We have like a month. We'll iron something out. I'm in on the bet for it.
Okay, so let's get to the. We're gonna iron out this shirt thing. We're gonna iron it out. All right, so let's look at these comments. Combo Breaker 99, what's up, man? Salute. Thank you for coming in and joining us, bro. He says it don't take great power to neutralize an opponent. As long as Izzy stays accurate and strong, he will get Costa's respect. I agree. Stamina says, however, why is it a slim path to victory? Adesanya has beaten many opponents being evasive, making people miss. He has more ways to win than Paulo, talking like it's definitely going to go a certain way. I'm not saying that it's definitely going to go a certain way. I'm just saying, dude, when I think of the matchup, the first thing that comes to my mind without really giving it any thought. I mean, you got to understand, I broke this matchup down. I broke this matchup down a year and a half ago. And when I first thought of this matchup, when this matchup was nowhere close to even happening, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's a tough fight for Israel Adesanya. And to this day, I still say this is the hard. I don't think this is the hardest fight of Paulo Costa's career, but I see it as the biggest test of Adesanya's career.
Can I ask you this? Do you guys feel as though Paulo Costa's lack of time in the octagon will hurt him? He's only fought once in 2 years. He fought Uriah Hall on July 7th, 2018. He's had one fight since then. He's had one fight in over 2 years. Does that bother you? And by the time they fight, he will have not fought for over a year.
I mean, John, if you want me to be honest and throw myself under the bus, I don't have a leg to stand on because look at how often Khabib fights. So
fair. But Habib's more of a veteran than Paulo Costa is. He only has 13 fights.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean that very well could be a factor in the fight. It could be Israel has racked up the experience. He has. He's very active. You know what I'm saying? And he's racked up the experience in the cage time. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that very well could play a role in this fight. Yes. Like Reggie the Tree says, if it goes the distance, don't you have it go? If it goes a distance, don't you have to go for Izzy? If it goes, it depends. It depends on Paulo's conditioning. If Paulo's conditioning has improved, which we see fighters improve, we saw Amanda Nunes improve her conditioning. You know what I'm saying? if the fight goes to distance, if it's the Paolo of
Did
old,
you just compare Paulo to Amanda Nunes? I just had to catch that real quick.
No, I'm saying like you see fighters improve their cardios. You know, you see fighters improve cardio as their career moves forward. If that's a problem for them, you see them improve it. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if it's Paolo that gasses round 3, then Israel Adesanya could most definitely win this fight via decision. He could, the point style of Izzy could come through for him. I mean, that's an absolute possibility. Absolutely.
I'd favor
it just needs to happen.
Yeah, it's got to happen. What's the date on this fight, guys?
September like 14th or something.
That's such a long way away.
It's funny because we also disagree. We're in the same situation with the heavyweight title fight too, where you guys see it going Stipe's way, and I think DC's gonna win. Like we're battling these next 2 pay-per-views. Like I'm over here on my own. I'm on Fight Island over here by myself, and you guys are
that's cool
in Looney Tune land.
Stipe and still, man. Stipe is just gonna go in there and utilize that striking ability that he has continued to use throughout his career in the UFC and to his reign as the champion. And I'm sorry, man. Even though John Jones does it, it's not an excuse. But them eye pokes went a long way in them fights with Stipe and DC, man.
I know, John. I know you didn't make up an excuse for that. I know that. I'm glad that what I'm saying, we were not collabing when that was going on because I think we were. I think you had been on some videos then too. But please don't tell me you made excuses for DC eye poking Stipe.
No.
Okay.
No, he didn't. He had more class than that. And
yeah,
stamina,
touche. I'm a nice guy. But what I'm saying is, in my opinion, though, if DC just sticks to the game plan that he did in the first couple rounds, that last fight, like if I was rooting for Stipe, that would concern me more than the knockout in the first fight. Mm-hmm. Like if DC just keeps doing that, if he just does that.
But can DC do that for 5 rounds? Can he do that for 5 rounds?
He's got to do it for 3. He's got to do it for 3 and survive 2. I think he can.
Do you, John, man. I'm sorry. Do you honestly think DC at this point in his career can survive 2 rounds with Stipe?
Exactly.
Dying the way he was in the second fight, man. And I don't mean dying like he was getting thrown around. I mean, he was pouring sweat. He was gassing a little, granted some body shots.
I think the body shots has something to do with it, and that's going to clearly be like a change in game.
Like it will be in the Izzy and Paulo fight, but we're past that.
I think when we talk, I think when we're talking skill sets, I think as far as being the more well-rounded fighter, I believe. As far as having more arsenals, I think that DC has more arsenal in his tank than Stipe Miocic. But I do think that I think DC's a better wrestler than Stipe.
100%.
I think he's a better wrestler, and Stipe's a better striker. So they're kind of even there. But I think where Stipe makes up for it is IQ, octagon IQ. He's a very smart fighter. Now he has made mistakes like he made in the first DC fight, but you got to look at the way he fought. Like Francis Ngannou was all that win was all octagon IQ for Stipe Miocic. I mean, it was all octagon IQ. He knew, like he was just smart enough to know what not to do to get fucked up by Francis Ngannou. You know what I'm saying? And I think that makes up a lot for it. That plays a big role in that fight with DC, man, because Stipe can be the smarter fighter. He was the smarter fighter in the second fight. You know what I'm saying? To start ripping the body after he's seen that DC was defending well, strikes to the face with strikes to the head were being defended well. He started attacking the body. That was genius. That was like what's his name? What's the guy name? What's the Apple guy name? What's his name?
Steve Jobs.
So that was he was like the Steve Jobs of MMA in that fight. It was great.
That is.
That's how smart he is. That was Steve Jobs. If Steve Jobs was an MMA fighter, he'd be Stipe Miocic.
Either Stipe or Israel Adesanya. No, I agree, but like there's the
I caught that. Go ahead, man. It's all good.
I don't know. I think that there
I would never come to your channel and disrespect you like that.
I'm not
John, just so you know, I would never come to your channel.
I'm disrespecting Anthony. Which I do all the time, and he gives it right back too, though. So that's fair. But
I torment John 24/7, so it's okay.
I think that there is. I think DC gets it done here, and you know this has been a crazy year for sure, and things just have not been going the way they should be. And in DC's career, this is like a fight that he loses. Typically, like, you know, he just hasn't been able to. I think he puts it all together. He's looking slim as hell. And man,
super
like
confident, by the way.
I feel like it's just an easy adjustment for him to get things back on track and to be able to, you know, make it 5 rounds with Stipe Miocic, and if he wrestles Stipe, like, I'm sorry, Stamina MC just killing me right now. But
I know, man. No, man, your brain didn't melt. Okay, Stipe is a very smart fighter in the octagon. Go ahead, John.
But I think that it's like, I think that the adjustments are small that he has to make to be able to go in there and get the job done against Stipe. Now it's a hard fight, and it, like, you know, it's Stipe can certainly go in there, and I don't feel like great about picking Daniel Cormier at all, but I think he gets the job done.
It's just the thing too, man. Something that I noticed over the last like year, and even within the last couple months, I've been thinking about it more and more. The growth of Stipe within that octagon and in his career has been phenomenal, and that's why I think like he just has that. Like, DC is great. I just think he has that upper hand on DC, John, when it comes to the striking. Like, I got to be honest, BJ, the IQ thing, it's a little out there because I think they're pretty neck and neck when it comes to octagon IQ and fight IQ. I think they're pretty neck and neck, but it's just Stipe and his striking, man. That's the biggest thing for me. Like, the takedowns, he can use. Obviously, he was able to get back on his feet. I mean, at some point, wasn't in the second fight, DC had Stipe hanging over his head or something, right? And let him go.
First round.
Ridiculous. And Stipe obviously was able to get up. And I'm sorry, man. I'm pretty sure that extra weight that DC continues to carry on. Granted, he's lost some. It's been taking a toll on him, man. I mean, we see it in the octagon.
Right. Exactly. Somebody read
this is going to be one. This is seriously going to be one for the ages. BJ, this guy went in the kitchen and he's cooking.
So Reggie the Tree said, "Is it possible that DC took the second fight less serious because of the first fight? What if DC goes old school and just takes Stipe down, lay on top of him for 5 rounds? He don't care about getting booed." It's another point, man. Just get the job done. Who cares? 10 years from now.
That's what we just discussed.
So he's saying, so Reggie the Tree, man, he's only got to lay on top of him for 3 rounds. Win 3 rounds, survive the other two. But I mean, like, it's not like Stipe just went in there and just buzzsawed.
No,
it's like a situation where he can't survive getting, like, he went through a war with Gus. He survived the first John Jones fight. Like, it's not like it's like a foregone conclusion that if Stipe, sneezes on DC that he gets knocked out. And it is a situation where DC doesn't give a shit what the fans think about how the fight goes.
Oh, no.
If he gets the job done, if he gets his hand raised, regardless of whether it looks like Anderson Silva, whether it looks like that fight or not, who cares? Like, you're the heavyweight GOAT, dude. If you win this fight, you're the heavyweight GOAT, whoever it is. And, like, I don't know, man. I think he's got the skill set to get it done. It just feels like it's going to happen for him. It really does. But he might get knocked out.
Do you guys think that Stipe is good enough of a wrestler to counter wrestler DC?
I don't think he can win the fight with wrestling. I don't think he can win the fight wrestling. He might be good enough wrestling maybe to slow down DC from winning the fight wrestling, but I don't think he's good enough to win it himself just strictly wrestling.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, in the first fight, didn't Stipe take DC down? Didn't Stipe win in the first fight? Stipe won the wrestling exchanges, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that when they were when the fight
exchange, to be honest with you, BJ.
There was a wrestling exchange. It may have been in the second fight.
Gotta look at the numbers.
I'll look it up.
There were a couple of look it up. There were a couple of wrestling exchanges in that first fight, and Stipe won those. He out wrestled DC in that first fight. I'm pretty damn confident that he did. I'm 99% confident because now I remember saying it that okay. I was impressed in what Stipe did. He out wrestled DC in the first fight.
Yeah, he had a takedown. I don't remember
exactly.
It though. Yeah, but I mean, then Cormier outstruck DC.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying that Stipe's going to go in there.
I think Stipe's going
to go in there and wrestle him.
I think it's good enough to potentially like stop DC. And maybe he gets a takedown or two, like whatever. But I don't think he's a good enough wrestler to win the fight strictly wrestling. I don't think it's like that.
Right.
Like that.
Right. No, it's not like that. No, not like that. But DC's wrestling, Stipe's wrestling is pretty good. He has a solid wrestling game. But and as much as I love Stipe Miocic, it's still kind of a toss up. You know what I'm saying? It's still a toss up because like you said, we didn't think that that Stipe would go back in here and play in the clinch with DC in the second fight, and that's exactly what he did. He got caught with that same punch a few times, but it just didn't, it didn't flatline him like it did the first time. But he got caught with that same punch like 2 or 3 times in that fight. But you just kind of never know. Like, and Stipe, another thing that worries me about the way Stipe Miocic fights too is he allows himself to get hit a lot. Like he comes out of a lot of, like when he throws his combos, he comes out of those combos. Like he was nowhere near as evasive in the fight with DC, the second one, as he was in the fight with Francis Ngannou. I need Stipe to be on that Francis Ngannou evasive shit because DC can put him out, but Stipe just a tough bastard, bro. He's just a tough motherfucker. It's simple as that. So we will see how this thing unfolds, man. But guys, I don't have nothing else to talk about. You guys got anything else you want to talk about?
I do actually.
Oh
yeah,
I do. I do.
Let's go, bro. Let's go.
I already know John's stance on this, and for about the last day and a half, I've been seeing this more and more. John, please don't worry. It isn't that bad, John. BJ, how are you feeling about a potential? It's nothing's clear or cut yet or anything. Flyweight title bout, Davison Figueiredo, Cody Garbrandt. BJ, your thoughts, please. I already know John's stance, unless he's changed it a little.
Well, we know he's inconsistent. So, but anyways, when you talk about Cody Garbrandt, moving down. I love you, John. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Come
weird
on,
way
Rod.
Weird way of showing it.
I've always said that I could see Cody Garbrandt fighting at 125 pounds. Like, he's got that build. Like when you see Cody in there with guys like TJ, Marlon. Didn't he fight Marlon Moraes?
No,
he didn't fight Marlon Moraes. Anyways, when you see Cody Garbrandt in there with guys like TJ, the size difference is apparent. Like even in the fight with Dominic Cruz, like you could see the size difference. It was noticeable. I was like, damn, TJ Dillashaw. Cody Garbrandt looks like a fucking flyweight. So to see him moving to 125 pounds, it's really not that far fetched for me because that thought's always been in the back of my mind. But in a fight with Davis and Figueiredo, man, like, I hate to say this because I'm not a huge fan of Cody Garbrandt, but I feel like he starches Davis and Figueiredo. I feel like he really does.
Okay.
I feel like he beats him.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, that didn't go over well. That didn't go over well. Oof. I think I should just start being. I just not answer questions sometimes.
I don't know. It wasn't like that wasn't like I completely disagree with you. I just really haven't heard like someone like take a strong stance on that fight. That's like the first strong stance I've heard on Cody Garbrandt and Davidson Figueiredo. And I just wasn't ready for it. I just wasn't. I don't like that. Wasn't like a dude. Here we go again. It wasn't like that. Oh man. That's a good fight,
though. What are you thinking, John? Now I'm interested. What's going on in your mind?
Listen, I think that for hardcore fans and like fans that follow the sport, more regularly, that Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling, other than these 3 title fights that got booked, right? So we know we have heavyweight in August, we have middleweight in September, we have lightweight in October, but there's 2 October pay-per-views. And then you look at the other title fights going on the rest of the year, like what's really out there? Like it doesn't really look like John Jones is going to fight. So potentially a interim or vacant title fight at 205 with Dominic Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz, probably. That's what we'd have to assume. But like does that fight, like that's not like a huge fight in terms of like casual fan interest. And for like more hardcore fans, Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan is the biggest fight that the UFC could book outside of the 3 title fights that are booked for the next 3 months. It's Yan versus Sterling. That's the biggest one. But for like a more casual fan base, if you were to ask me like which fight would do the most buys, I think it's Cody Garbrandt versus Davison Figueiredo.
Yeah,
I think that's
a big fight. That's a good fight. Yeah, that's a damn good fight. Like I would like, a lot of people don't pay attention to the flyweight division, but that is one fight that I would be invested in to see if Cody Garbrandt could actually go down, and Cody Garbrandt would end up being a 2-division champion, one of the select few 2-division champions. You know what I'm saying? Cody Garbrandt
couldn't do it. TJ couldn't do it.
TJ could not do it.
Like, man, that's a feather in his cap, man.
That's like a stick to TJ Dillashaw. That's actually a good
Cody
way.
Would mention that.
Yeah, that's a good way to stick it to TJ Dillashaw. Motherfucker, you got kicked out for cheating, motherfucker, and you admitted to cheating. And what did I do? I went on and won my 2nd belt, motherfucker. Like, that's a great revival for Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt, with this last win, he kind of pulled people back to his team. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of pulled people back, gained a little bit more fans. If he drops down to 125 and wins that belt, he becomes a fucking star. He becomes a star again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and if Figueiredo beats him, then Figueiredo gets over on Cody Garbrandt, and now Figueiredo is like a dude. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right, man. That's exactly
right. And that's
right.
why I'm sorry. Like these other guys, like I'm a fan of Askar Askarov, Brandon Moreno. I'm a fan of Alex Perez.
Yeah.
But Cody Garbrandt is the fight to make at flyweight. If he can make that weight, like that is 100% the fight to make. I'm sorry, it is. And when we could sit here and debate who deserves it more between Askar Askarov, Brandon Moreno, and Alex Perez. And if we polled it, then all 3 guys are going to get a significant number. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's one guy. It's not like it's a situation like Aljamain Sterling at bantamweight where it's like, all right, this dude needs to fight for the title. Like, it's not, there's like none of those guys are all in.
There's no clear cut.
But there's no clear cut. And that's how I felt. That's how I felt about this last round when like they chose Aldo instead of like Sterling, where it was like, okay, listen, like I get Sterling, but this is before Sterling beat Sandhagen. And it's like, I get that Sterling's like in that mix, but like he's not in a spot where he demands a title fight. Now he does because he beat Corey Sandhagen, but that's why I was cool with them booking Aldo in that situation. You know what I mean? And before, when it was Cejudo versus Aldo, I was saying the same thing with Jan. It's like we could debate between Jan and Sterling who should fight for the title. No clear-cut guy. All right, in the meantime, let's book Aldo. I was cool with that. Or eventually Dominic Cruz. I was cool with that. But that's what's going on at flyweight now. And you have a star in Cody Garbrandt who's willing to go down there. And you look at these rest of the pay-per-views, man, unless something crazy happens and one of these fights ends up like going quickly and there's a quick turnaround or something.
That's the fight to make. That's the fight to make. I
don't see it, man. I don't see it. Like, we have 3 incredible title fights coming up in the next 3 months. But the rest of it is like, it's not that big, man. It's not that big. There's what you got to say, Ant?
Cody Garbrandt planted the seed before he did that to his son South that he wanted to move down to flyweight, right? It's just
Yeah.
Can he do that consistently and drop? He says he can do it easily, like with his eyes closed. He can make 125.
I mean, he looks like it. He looks like it.
Yeah, he looks like he's like 145 right now.
Is he?
Yeah,
so maybe that is his goal. Maybe there's something we don't know with the UFC.
Right.
I mean, we already know. It's clear cut. Anytime Cody Garbrandt fights, Dana White loves him to death. He does. Yep. He loves taking care of Cody. Obvious, or else Cody wouldn't be in the spot he was in after getting washed 3 times. Nothing against the guy, but that's what happened. And if he was to go down there and to fight Davison Figueiredo, I just don't know if he would be able to get Figueiredo, who clearly has the IQ, has the technique, can handle himself on the feet and on the ground. I don't think he can pull Figueiredo into a firefight or into that, I'm going to back up and you're going to step in and you're going to get clocked. Figueiredo, I don't think falls for that. And that's the issue. What if Cody Garbrandt makes that sacrifice, goes down to 125.
And pays the price.
Pays the price. Then what?
Right. Yeah. Reggie says, Stamina, it would be fun to hear you up there with BJ, Ant, and John on the panel. Hey, man, I've been trying to get Stamina to come on. I've been trying to get Stamina. Stamina has made these flash appearances on my podcast before. I've tried to get him to come on. He don't want to come on. You know what I'm saying? So I can't make him. Stamina. We need Stamina next time, man. Next time you coming on. You coming on for sure. But guys, listen. You guys know I wouldn't bring nothing less than the best on here to talk about these topics, guys. I had to get my boys from Bloody Canvas. Those guys always holding it down, pushing out great content. So, guys, please go over to Bloody Canvas MMA right here on YouTube and give those guys a subscribe and check out what they talk about. You know what I'm saying? And it's for one, it's always a pleasure having you guys coming through here. We're going to have to get a fight companion going here, guys. We're going to have to do this for one of these cards coming up here, for one of these big ones.
What we got coming up?
What we got coming up? Yeah, let's see what we got. Yeah, not too much.
BJ, you want banter while John's not looking? I was trying to convince John earlier that Megan Anderson and Amanda Nunes is another fight, but he wasn't trying to hear it.
No, I'm saying like in terms of big fights. Like that's
why did you light that flame? Why did you light that flame, bro? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? I will appreciate it, Reggie. Reggie said great panel and stream. Reggie, we appreciate it. Reggie, please ignore BJ. If I can come on, I will do. I just don't often get the notification that he's even going live. You know what YouTube is like. Absolutely. Why did you do that? But go ahead, John. What do you have to say about that?
No, I'm not saying that that's not like a fight to make or an interesting fight. I'm saying in terms of like big fights, like that's not like I'm saying when you have what's going on in August, September, and October, when you have KHABIB versus Justin Gaethje, when you have Paulo Costa versus Israel Adesanya, when you have the trilogy at heavyweight, there's no fight like that out there to make after those 3. Like I'm saying, like what is there to book towards the end of the year that's like really good unless John Jones comes back and it doesn't look like it. Like what is there? And if you're gonna try to tell me, and I'm an Amanda Nunes fan through and through, I love that woman. But if you're gonna tell me that Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson is on par with those other 3 title fights, then I mean,
dude, this is what you have to understand. This is what you have to understand, John. And I think that you're kind of overlooking this a little bit. My strawberry brother, you seem to be very well versed in MMA, and you seem to know things. And I would, as bad as it pains me to say that, because you think that I've been on you lately, I thought that you would recognize what I'm getting ready to say. I thought you would be savvy enough to.
You're gonna say that Megan Anderson has a chance against Amanda, and she can outstrike her. She's a better striker than her.
No, sir. That's not what I was going to say. No.
Thank God.
But that's coming. But in terms of this not being a big fight, dude, listen. The whole country of Australia is behind Megan Anderson. The entire country of Australia. This is Australia versus Brazil. Australia. Now, Exactly, dude. That's a huge fight. It may not be, like you say, a huge fight for the casuals, but for us diehards, that's a gem. Like we'll watch that fucking fight, and that will be a competitive fight. It is what it is.
Is that a bigger fight than Cody Garbrandt and Davison Figueiredo?
Absolutely. Yes. No. I mean, it's about level. If you put numbers, if you compared apples to apples, I think Megan Anderson versus Davison Figueiredo would pull more eyes in. I mean,
intergender championship. Let's do it.
Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson would pull more, just because. I mean, dude, Megan Anderson has a lot of fans, bro. Like, I don't think you realize the amount of fans that she has. She has a lot of fans. She has a huge fan base. Yes, dude. Like, if she was to fight Amanda Nunes, like,
dude, that's you gotta admit, John. Even when we had, that little tourney between I forget the other 2 ladies, but when Felicia Spencer and Megan Anderson fought on the same night and they both got finishes. Every fight week, when Megan Anderson is on the card, we mostly see Megan Anderson outside of, whoever else is on the main card, main event. It's usually the Megan Anderson.
You see a lot of Megan Anderson. You see a lot of Megan. Yes.
A lot. Have you
not
noticed that?
Amanda Ribas play. Come on.
All right,
now she ain't no Amanda Ribas, but
hold on. Let me pump the brakes, because Stamina MC, the smart person that he is, reminded me that there is a huge fight at welterweight with Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns that's coming up. Like, that is huge. Wally Zhang versus Rose potentially in December. Like, that, maybe December, that could happen potentially. If it's not Rose or Joanna, like, I think it's going to obviously be one of those 2 anyway, but like, I don't know. Like, Usman for sure. I don't think that Zhang Ali and
Stamina.
Come on, Stamina, dude. Stamina. That's a stretch, bro.
This
guy is smart as shit, dude. This guy is so smart.
Shit.
Bro.
My God. Stamina, stop smoking that shit.
This guy is just so intelligent. Oh my goodness.
No, bro. Dude, listen, if there's a fight out there because from what I've heard, Amanda Nunes does not want to go back to 135. Right. If there's a fight out there for Amanda Nunes, a fight out there for her, it's Megan Anderson. If there's an immediate fight out there for Amanda Nunes, it's Megan Anderson.
Sure. I'm not disagreeing with you, though. I'm not disagreeing. I agree with that. I'm just saying that fight's not bigger than Usman Burns. That fight's not bigger than Figueiredo Garbrandt. That fight's not bigger than Jan and Sterling. Like,
well, not many women's MMA fights are going to be bigger than men's MMA fights, though.
I agree, and you and I both love women's MMA, right? Like most of our favorite fighters are all women. Like you and I love women's MMA for sure. It's not anything against women's MMA. It's just the facts of the matter is, and like if you were to tell me that Zhang Weili and Rose or Zhang Weili and Joanna are fighting towards the end of the year, I would say, man, that's a big ass fight. Like that's a big fight. If God forbid, I don't think it's going to happen, obviously, but if Amanda and Valentina got booked or whatever, or Zhang Weili and Valentina, whatever, we're getting crazy here. But like, if there's big fights to make in women's MMA for sure. I just don't think in terms of like casual fan interest, Megan Anderson and Amanda Nunes is one of them. Stamina MC.
I think so, though.
Marcus Bell. A lot of smart people. A lot of smart people in the comments. I just got to say that.
I'm sorry, this might be going out on a limb, but Amanda Nunes is bringing most of the interest with her fights anyway. I mean, we all have those little moments where we think the opponent has a chance, but then when it comes to hindsight, it's like, all right.
And I think
Amanda
that drives
Nunes is
interest
absolutely
down.
Holding the weight of her opponents.
That drives interest down.
But that's what I'm saying. I think Megan Anderson can also, because she brings the interest. I hear what Stamina was saying by all means, but it's like, dude, Megan Anderson's a star.
Dude, and Megan Anderson can fight.
She's the only female fighter that Australia has, and that's all they care about when it's fight week. I'm telling you. Just type her in on YouTube.
There's like 6 people in Australia.
All right. Who? City Kickboxing and Megan Anderson?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Tom Hanks or whatever.
Said Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I think, John.
I might have brought that argument up.
Hold on a second. Megan Anderson is a hot girl, and she has 478,000 followers on Instagram. That's a hot girl with 478,000 followers. Cody Garbrandt has 2.3 million.
Well, Cody Garbrandt was a former champion. That's a former champion.
But that's why it's a bigger fight. Like, more people care about Cody Garbrandt than Megan Anderson.
Yeah. God, you gotta phrase these questions. You gotta phrase these questions better, John.
You do an awful job, man.
No. Okay. Me, Stamina MC, Marcus Bell, and Reggie the Tree are gonna, have our own little conversation.
I just can't believe this, man.
I must say, I disagree with Marcus Bell that Amanda would take Megan down. Like, for what? For what?
Because she can't. She can, because she can take her down. And if she wants to knock her out on the feet, she'll do that too. That's why she's the GOAT, undisputed.
Yeah, just like she was going to knock out Jermaine Durandame, right?
Dominated her for 5 rounds. That was a 50-45 across the board. 150-45.
Yeah, but on the feet, Amanda Nunes got tagged. And if she gets, and it's the same thing, dude. Same thing. If Amanda Nunes,
the second round, the second round after that stupid stand up when she was on top for like 6 seconds.
Amanda Nunes. If Megan Anderson connects flush with Amanda Nunes, that's a problem.
Yeah, sure. I agree. 100%.
That's a problem.
And if Amanda Nunes lands flush with Megan Anderson, then that's the fight. That's over. It's over. See ya. Bye.
It's over, Johnny.
And Felicia Spencer, like, are we just going to dismiss the fact that Felicia Spencer just went in there, took Megan Anderson down, and choked her out like it was nothing, and Amanda Nunes completely dominated Felicia Spencer on the ground? Like, we're just going to like forget all that happened? Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, but you're talking about 2 women who like to strike. I highly doubt that Amanda Nunes is going to go in there because she'll probably underestimate Megan Anderson's striking. But she didn't underestimate Jermaine Durandame's. She knew what was up. She knew how to beat Jermaine Durandame. She's never fought Megan Anderson before. No matter what you see on tape, when you're in there with Megan Anderson, who's 6 foot tall, then that's a completely different thing. I don't know if Amanda Nunes will go for broke like Felicia Spencer did. Felicia Spencer had no choice but to take Megan Anderson down, because when she tried to stand at range with Megan, she was getting clipped. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's a toss-up, dude. I mean, Amanda Nunes could try and stand and trade and land a big shot on Megan Anderson, but it'll be hard I see it being hard for Amanda Nunes to land clean before Megan can land clean, because Megan's long and her punches are not very long because her arms are long. So her punches are short. You know what I'm saying? But her punches have a whole lot of power behind them. That's a tough one, dude. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Just because of size. Yeah, I think of the size. The size is a huge factor in that fight with Megan Anderson. Girl,
Megan Anderson has, like, where's the track record? Let's go back to 20. So she started like her little run in Invicta. She fought Amber Lee Brock.
Yep. She demolished Amber Lee Brock.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Third round. She beat Amanda Bell.
She beat the fuck out of Amanda Bell.
Peggy Morgan.
Tell him, BJ.
Hit list.
She hurt Peggy Morgan. Dude, she had a whole nother face on Peggy Morgan.
Face, bro.
Sure.
She looked like she
lost to the only loss she had in Invicta was to Cindy Dandois. Cindy Dandois submitted her. But then she goes out and fights Charmaine Tweet, who's also 6 feet tall. You know what I'm saying? And Charmaine had nothing for Megan Anderson. Nothing.
I mean, she hadn't. So she fought Jessamine Duke in the UFC. Like, she's not fighting. She's not finishing. Yeah, she's not finishing UFC talent. She's not.
I mean, BJ, you can agree to that, right?
Kat Zingano. I'll give her that one. I'll give her that Kat Zingano finish. That was a great finish.
Right, BJ?
Kat.
Amanda.
Say what?
BJ. Amanda fought some cans on the way to the belt, didn't she? She also fought some cans on the way to defend that belt, didn't she?
Yo, this dude would say, before.
I mean, I would say the only. Okay, let's look at
me and BJ.
Let's look at who Amanda fought.
Ronda
everybody.
No. On the way to the belt, Miesha Tate ain't no can, bro. I hope you ain't trying to.
She was a can when she fought Amanda.
No, Miesha, no. Whoa.
Yes, she was.
Miesha Tate ain't never been Miesha Tate ain't never been no can. She ain't never been no can. No, she ain't never been no can.
I don't know.
And the UFC.
Okay, so let's look at who Amanda Nunes fought on her way to the belt. Okay.
Oh, Jermaine Durandamy loses to Zingano, beats Shayna Baszler, beats Sarah McMahon, beats Valentina Shevchenko. Oh man, that's terrible. Valentina Shevchenko, arguably the second best women's MMA fighter of all time. Sarah McMahon, former title challenger. Shayna Baszler used to be a person back in the day. Kat Zingano lost.
Sheila Gaff.
She loses to Kat Zingano for sure in a fight that she gassed out, but Kat Zingano takes brain damage in it, and then Jermaine Durandamy, she rolls through. Stamina MC. Hold on. Let me explain what Anthony's doing here. Before Amanda fought Felicia Spencer, he was in our Bloody Canvas picks video, and he was sipping a little bit, and he picked Felicia Spencer to get under my skin because Amanda Nunes is my favorite fighter, but he picked Felicia Spencer, and again, this was alcohol induced, but he goes, Amanda Nunes has only fought cans, and everybody else on the video was like, what are you talking about? And like afterwards,
what are you talking about?
Afterwards, he realized how stupid he was, and like the next day, it's been like a running joke for a while. But now he's trying to beat that drum to get under my skin. But like, I mean, if he just wants to make himself look like a fool, I'm sorry that I even explained it. I should have just let him look like an idiot. But
I wouldn't call.
She hasn't fought one can. You want to call Sheila Gaff a can? Go right ahead. She has not fought one can. She hasn't fought one can since. Not one.
Right.
Every single person has fought for the title except for Shayna Baszler.
Hold on.
Every single one that she fought.
Hold on. We did agree that Raquel Pennington was a can, though.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say Rocky Pennington.
That's not a can. That's just not an all-time great. That's what we're doing. If you're not an all-time great, then you're a can. Like, that's what we're doing now.
Come on, you're crazy.
So she runs through the division. She beats Valentina twice. She beats Miesha Tate. She beats Ronda Rousey, and then she gets Raquel Pennington, and it's like, oh, like you're not fighting anybody. She destroys her, then fights Chris Cyborg, Holly Holm, and it's like, oh, we're gonna find this girl from Pluto and make you fight her. Like, who else do you want her to fight? Who out there do you want Amanda Nunes to fight to have to prove herself? What are we doing? What are we talking about?
Megan Anderson. You're the featherweight champion. You're the featherweight champion. You have to fight. You've already fought the best bantamweights. Now you have to fight the best featherweights.
She has nothing left to prove. I'm not saying that that's not a good fight, and that's not a fight that should.
Okay, well, then you can't call Amanda Nunes one of the best featherweights in the world. Then you can only call her one of the best bantamweights in the world. You legit cannot call Megan Anderson. I mean, you cannot call Amanda Nunes one of the best featherweights in the world. She hadn't fought the best featherweights. She fought Felicia Spencer and Chris Cyborg. Those are two of the best featherweights. But look at
knocked her ass out in 14 seconds.
Yeah, but that was at the beginnings of their career. Come on, we're talking ancient. We're talking ancient.
So she knocked out Chris Cyborg, the Grand Slam champ. She knocks out the Grand Slam champ and then beats the girl who beat Megan Anderson. And we're like saying that she has more left to prove at 145. Who do you want her to fight? Volkanovski? You want her to fight Volkanovski?
You have to beat Megan Anderson. She has to be. If they build a division and you get the Pam Sorensens, Invicta champion, you get Pam Sorensen, Caitlin Young, you get those girls over there. And Amanda Nunes beats all of those girls, including Megan Anderson. If she makes a run she hadn't made a run at 145. She's fought twice. Mm-hmm. If they build the division and she makes a run at 145, then you can say Amanda Nunes is the best women's fighter of all time. If she becomes the greatest bantamweight and the greatest featherweight of all time.
You wouldn't say that now?
I would not say that now.
Who's the best women's fighter ever?
The Grand Slam champ. I mean, what do you mean?
You can't really say that. You can't really say that. But I would say I would say Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Absolutely,
folks.
Now I would say Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I would say Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
BJ side right now. So
I've heard it all. I've heard it all.
What do you mean? Amanda Nunes is the greatest women's bantamweight fighter of all time. Yes, she is. But she has not done at featherweight what she's done at 135 pounds. She hasn't.
Who's the best featherweight of all time?
I mean, Chris Cyborg, of course.
And Amanda Nunes beat her at featherweight. Who's the second best? Probably Julia Budd, right? You probably say Julia Budd, track record.
Yes.
At Bellator.
Yes.
Granted, it was early on, but Amanda Nunes defeated her at featherweight. So now she has wins over the two best featherweights.
So can you call Kat Zingano the greatest bantamweight of all time?
No, because she has one good win.
No. You're saying that if her beating Julia Budd, Felicia Spencer, and Chris Cyborg makes her the best featherweight of all time. So it's Kat Zingano, the bantamweight GOAT, because she beat Julia Budd a long time ago.
What do you mean? No, but I'm saying this Chris Cyborg, the Cyborg win is what made her the featherweight GOAT, or the women's GOAT in all divisions. If you want to say she's not the featherweight GOAT, then fine, whatever. I'll say Chris Cyborg for sure. But when you factor in that she beat the featherweight GOAT at the featherweight division, then she's the clear-cut best women's fighter ever. What has Joanna Jędrzejczyk done outside of the strawweight division? Lose to Valentina.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I feel like you got your payback.
I mean,
you shut me down a little bit. I mean, you shut me down. I'm cool to accept that I just got shut down. But if I had to talk top three best women, it's Chris Cyborg, Amanda Nunes, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk, hands down. They're all neck and neck for me.
Say that again.
The top three best women's fighters of all time: Joanna, Chris, and Amanda. They're all up there on the same.
Valentina in there at all.
Absolutely not. No.
Why?
I would take out.
Why?
I mean,
Hold on, John. I need to know why.
I just don't. I mean, okay, let's look at. Look at Valentina's resume, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta look at Valentina's resume, bro. You can't call Valentina.
She's destroyed everybody.
The biggest win of Valentina Shevchenko's career was against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. It wasn't Holly Holm. She lost the fights to Amanda Nunes. You know what I'm saying? She lost those fights. She
dominated the queen.
She did, but she lost those fights to Amanda Nunes.
I'm a creep for you.
I love Joanna too. She beat Joanna. She beat Joanna, but she hasn't. I mean, who else? Sarah Kaufman, Holly Holm, Juliana Pena, Priscilla Cachoeira, Jessica I, Caitlin Chukagian. That doesn't make her the best.
So that doesn't make her carrying the division on her back, sir. Doing a lot more work. Amanda Nunes. She's carrying that division on her back, sir. Is she not?
She's carrying that division.
Active champions in that.
She's not carrying that division on her back. She's dragging that division behind her at the moment.
There you go, John.
At the moment.
Yeah, that's false. That's false. That's false.
I agree with John.
That is absolutely false.
Discussion exactly the same thing.
BJ, the fighters that you're about to name, and I know who they are. They're coming up. They're not there yet. And they will get there. And that division is going to be strong. It's not there yet.
Nope, I'm not hearing all of it. Nope, that is the general consensus, because the general consensus is that Valentina is one of the greats. And I'm not saying that Valentina isn't one of the greats, but Valentina, the big fights that would have made Valentina one of the greats, she lost those fights. She lost them. She lost them. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? Valentina, no. I mean, at 125 pounds, I'm telling you guys, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time until Valentina loses at 125 pounds. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before she loses. She gets the right opponent. Look who they're feeding her to. I'm not even gonna go into it. It's only a matter of time before Valentina loses at 125 pounds.
So I will say right now, like, I think you made a good point on Valentina. I will. But my question that I would ask you is, couldn't you apply that same thought process to Chris Cyborg? Who has she beaten? I'm sorry.
Chris Cyborg, you're talking a different league when you're talking about Chris Cyborg, because Chris Cyborg went from Strikeforce to Invicta to the UFC and now to Bellator, and she's fought all of the top featherweights besides Megan Anderson. But that's the only one she hadn't fought.
That's the weakest division in,
MMA
between 115 to 145. 145 is weaker than 125 for sure. But what would you say is Chris Cyborg's best win? Holly Holm, sure. Julia Budd, she's we gonna give Felicia Spencer that clout and say that that's her third best win. I think you could understanding completely and somewhat agreeing with what you're saying about Valentina Shevchenko is that you can apply that same logic to Chris Cyborg. You can apply that. Now, Valentina's just been so dominant in her last few fights that it's whoa, here we go. What's going to happen? You know what I mean? She's just going to run through people. That's what it's looked like, right? In the last few fights. With Cyborg, it's you kind of get that same feeling, but it's what is out there that excites you for her other than a rematch with Amanda Nunes? Who has she beaten that really sticks out at you? A career bantamweight in Holly Holm, Julia Budd, who that's a good win for sure, 100%. Felicia Spencer, who we know that she's tough, But what has she really proven? I think she's very good. I like Felicia Spencer a lot, but she hasn't proven it yet. She has not proven it. She's one good, she's done some good things, but she's still coming up. She has time to prove herself, but she hasn't really done it yet. And then like she gets starched in less than a minute against Amanda Nunes. You can apply that same thing. And you look at Joanna, I would still put Joanna above Rose on the all-time list, just because of the run that she went on. But the fact that she lost twice to Rose, and I kind of dismissed that first one and blamed the weight cut. Like that was like, sketchy business, the way that weight cut happened. And then she gets knocked out in the first round. Like that's crazy. But the way she lost the second fight, Rose just beat her. And then she loses to Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili just beat her. That was a great fight, all-time fight, whatever. But like there's you could poke holes in Joanna's legacy, you can, but she's one of the best, obviously, for sure. But Amanda Nunes, she lost some fights early in her career, but since that loss to Kat Zingano, it's just been clean. And that's why, in my opinion, I know it sounds crazy, but there's a lot of parallels to Jordan, where Jordan, like we just look at him, 6 championships, you know what I'm saying? Like, people talk like Michael Jordan never lost a basketball game. You know what I'm saying? But like they don't talk about the fact that he couldn't beat the Celtics early in his career. He couldn't beat the Bad Boys, the first couple tries. And then he gets the job done. And once he tasted victory, he never was beaten. He was, you know what I'm saying? Other than like that one sketchy year where he came back halfway through. But like, you know what I'm saying? The back-to-back three-peats, like once he tasted victory, that was it. Killer instinct. And that's what we remember him by. 20 years later, more than 20 years later. That's what Amanda Nunes has done, where she's taken some lumps early in her career, but once she got that, you ain't touching her. That's how I feel.
Well, I mean, I just, and I agree with that, something like that. Amanda Nunes, she is great. She is great, but she's the greatest bantamweight of all time. I mean, I give her that. But as far as featherweight, I don't see her being – I think she needs a few more solid wins at 145 pounds to be considered the greatest featherweight and bantamweight of all time.
I agree with that. But she's the best female fighter ever. But I agree that if you want to say Cyborg, you even want to go Julia Budd over Amanda Nunes as like best featherweights and make that distinction, go right ahead. But like complete package resume, it's Nunes. It's not even close.
And Valentina does not belong on that list. Like, she doesn't belong in that conversation. I mean, I just don't think that Valentina Shevchenko belongs in that conversation. I don't think that she's.
DJ.
Huh?
I'm sorry, man. You're out of your mind.
I don't think Valentina is. I don't think she's there yet, man. She's a champion of a new division.
Where else does she have to go, BJ?
Listen. She fought a strawweight for the belt, for the flyweight belt. Let's be real here. She fought somebody who was smaller and weaker than her for the 125-pound belt. So she did not fight a legit flyweight for the belt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Joanna Young Jacek is big.
Open that new door, but it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't.
Joanna Young Jacek is a big strawweight, but she's a small flyweight. She's a big strawweight, small flyweight. She's stuck right in the middle there.
Man, DJ, you're my friend, man. I hear you.
Sorry, man. I've told you guys, that I do not.
Man, I'm sorry, but the only thing I can think of, it's like, all right, Amanda Nunes beat Valentina twice. John Jones beat DC twice. So that doesn't take away from DC being one of the greatest, of all time.
Stamina said your credibility is absolute ribbons. Hey, you can call it what you want, bro. You can call it what you want, but I'm gonna say this statement right here, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Valentina Shevchenko has not fought the best 125-pound fighters in the division. She has not fought those girls. She has not fought the best girls at 125 pounds. When she completely cleans out that motherfucking division.
One of that division.
No.
But who would you put her above her? Who would you put above her? If you want to take her down, that's fine. But who would you put above her?
What do you mean?
if you're saying that Valentina Shevchenko is not a top 5 female fighter of all time, that means you have to have 5 other names. Who are they?
Top 5, sir.
I mean, I said top 3. I have a top 3.
All right, and it's
in there. Come on,
it's Cyborg, Nunes, Cyborg, and Joanna.
Yes, and if I have to go outside of those, 3, I'm going to go Miesha Tate.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
One more.
I don't have another. No, I won't throw Ronda in there. No, I won't throw Ronda in there.
Let's not get crazy.
I ain't gonna. Let's not get too wild now.
We're fine saying Valentina is not top 5, but let's not get crazy.
No, I don't. I just don't see. I don't think Valentina Shevchenko should be in that. She's like I said. She's only people talk about Valentina.
How can you?
But people talk.
Book that third fight with him.
But
how can you put Valentina and not? How can you put Miesha Tate in there when Ronda beat her twice? And Ronda's only losses
because Miesha Tate
and
Miesha Tate was a double organization champion, bro.
Like Ronda.
Okay, but Ronda was not as complete of a fighter as Miesha Tate. We all know that.
Miesha twice though.
She beat Miesha Tate twice on the. She beat Miesha Tate twice on the ground, bro. She didn't beat. Like it was a ground fight. If you ground fight with Ronda Rousey, you're gonna lose.
Edson Barboza is better than Khabib, but since Khabib only beat him on the ground, so like other than that, Edson Barboza.
Dude, listen. I'm gonna say what I have to say again. Stop talking about Amanda. Stop talking about.
I'm not talking about.
No. Stop talking about Valentina Shevchenko as if Valentina Shevchenko won the belt at 135 pounds. She did not. And she fought a strawweight to win the flyweight title. Period. It is what it is.
Incredibly close, though. That's what I'm saying.
She fought a flyweight.
Champions have grown so much. Hey, BJ, you like it or not? Valentina is in the discussion to have another fight with Amanda Nunes, and she's also in another discussion in Dana White's mind to fight Weili Zhang before the fucking 2021's over, depending on how they both look down the line. So, what are you gonna do then, man? What if she knocks out?
I just think
something crazy.
She ain't gonna knock out Weili. She ain't gonna knock out Weili Zhang. No.
What if? No. What if? I said what if. I didn't say she.
What if? Okay, well, what if? Yeah, I mean, if she goes and beats Weili Zhang, you know what I'm saying? Then she's not gonna beat Amanda Nunes. Valentina's not gonna beat Amanda Nunes. I mean, let's just be honest here. She's not gonna beat Amanda Nunes. She's tried twice and she failed twice. She's not gonna beat Amanda Nunes. So people need to let that shit go. And a fight with Weili Zhang is tough. That's a tough fight for Valentina. It's a tough fight for Weili Zhang. But when it comes to 125 pounds and 125 pounds alone, she has not fought the best girls at 125 pounds. When she beats those girls, when she holds on to that belt and beats those girls and beats those up-and-coming girls, then I will be like, okay, Valentina Shevchenko, long reigning champion. She took out all the best flyweights. She took out the top flyweights in the world. Then okay, then I can put her in the conversation. Until she beats until she beats all the top flyweights, because we're talking about all these other divisions when we're talking about Valentina Shevchenko. We're talking about everything except flyweight. We're talking about a fight with bantamweight or a fight with Weili Zhang. Let's focus on the division that Valentina is a champion in. That's 125 pounds. And she has not, I'm sure we all can agree, Caitlin Chukagian is not one of the best flyweights in the world. Jessica Eye is not one of the best flyweights in the world. Priscilla Cachoeira is not one of the best flyweights in the world. And Joanna Jędrzejczyk is not one of the best flyweights in the world. You have to look at who are the best flyweights in the world. And she has not fought the best flyweights in the world.
Who are they, DJ? Who are they? You keep saying this, my friend, but and I don't want. I'm sorry, man. I love her too, but I don't want to hear Jillian Robinson because she's not beating.
I'm not going to say Jillian Robinson. I'm not going to say Jillian Robinson. I'm not saying Jillian Robinson. But dude, when you got, and I know you guys are going to shit on what I'm saying, but it is what it is.
Get crazy. I can already feel
fighters. Listen, man. Fighters like Macy Barber, fighters like De La Rosa. Those are the type of fighters, man. And that's all I'm saying. Macy Barber, De La Rosa, when she beats those girls, those solid girls like that, man, those solid 125 pounders like those two, and plus more. There's others that I didn't name. When Valentina beats them, then you can say, okay, Valentina's one of the best 125 pounders in the world. Until then, absolutely not. She hasn't done enough at 125 pounds to deserve all of this clout at 125 for what she did at 135. It is what it is, and that's all I'm saying about it. That's all I'm saying. She getting all this clout for being, oh, she's one of the best flyweights, but y'all, it's a coattail from what she did at 135 pounds, the fights with Nunes that she lost. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Yes, Marcus Bell. I said Montana De La Rosa. Dude, listen, man. I'm not
words to that one. That's why I didn't even.
I'm going into it. If you guys look at Montana De La Rosa and you do not see a future champion, how the fuck do you guys not see a future champion when you look at somebody like Montana De La Rosa go out here and fucking dominate these girls? How do you not see that? What is there something that I'm missing here when I'm saying that De La Rosa is one of the best flyweights in the world? Is there something that I'm missing? Like, am I missing the ball here?
Who is she dominated? Who is she dominated?
Dude,
that gave you
who
the
is she not dominated? The only person that
she would beat Valentina.
Oh my God!
It's
the style of fight, bro. It's the style of fight. It's the style. Yeah. It's the style. Styles make matchups.
And
styles make matchups. Go ahead.
Valentina will hip tosser.
Okay.
No debating. And then put her in a crucifix like she did with who I believe right now is the best flyweight in the division, Caitlin Chukagian. The best flyweight in that division that is not at the best. And anybody else is getting worked. And the resume shows it, sir.
Are you talking about the well-rounded Caitlin Chukagian? That Chukagian, the well-rounded one? That one?
No, I'm talking about the one that beat up Valentina's sister. Who else is there?
Dude, who? So, okay, let's say
BJ. Come on.
Hypothetically, do you think Valentina, with that one position on the ground, can dominate Montana De La Rosa on the ground? Do you honestly think that she can Okay. All right.
With no effort. Just
wow.
Put that wrist right under that knee like she usually does. Spread her out a little. Hopefully Herb Dean won't be there or anybody, because I want to see this go down for a while. So Montana, you get yourself to the belt so we can show BJ what a true champion looks like.
I mean, she's realistically 2 fights away from fighting for the belt. I mean, let's be realistic here.
Who'd she get booked with?
Marina Moroz. She beats Marina Moroz. She gets a top 5. I mean, Montana De La Rosa has how many wins in the UFC? She beats Marina Moroz. She gets a top 5 opponent. Let's say she gets Roxanne Modafferi.
Time out. The fact that now I'm angry at myself because I just scrolled down at the rankings and I just noticed this. Montana De La Rosa ain't even getting past Cynthia Calvillo. So what are you talking about?
Dude, you tell me what Cynthia Calvillo. You tell me what Cynthia Calvillo has what she's gonna do to beat Montana De La Rosa. I don't think you guys really notice. Do you guys watch? Have you guys ever watched a De La Rosa fight?
Too crazy. Yeah, I've seen her fight.
Do you guys watch De La Rosa fight?
I've seen her fight. I've seen her husband fight too.
I mean,
Mark's bad. I'm sure he's a great guy.
I didn't say that, guys.
Awesome
BJ, it would be less embarrassing if you were completely naked on camera to be talking this undiluted fuckery that you're talking now. Your blindness is actually pitiful. I feel for you. Dude, that's absolutely fine. You can drag me all you want to, man. Listen, let me tell y'all a quick little story. Okay, when I was in high school, I happened to be a very versatile kid. Okay, I hung out with everybody, and I also was a student body. I was the student body president of my high school. Okay, When I made my student body, when I made my presidential speech, just so you know, I have made a presidential speech. Okay. When I made my inaugural presidential speech, I promised my high school a lot of stuff. Okay. I told them, I said, guys, we're gonna get this, we're gonna get that, we're gonna get that. Elect me as your president and let me make shit happen. And I made shit happen. When this shit happens, guys, I want you guys to report right here, okay? When the fight gets booked with De La Rosa versus Shevchenko, I want you guys to come here and we're gonna talk about it again. When we see Montana De La Rosa blaze her way, when we see her blaze her way to that top to that belt, then we'll see. Then I'm gonna ask you guys, do you guys feel the same way? I'm gonna play this back, as a matter of fact. I'm gonna play this back.
Okay, so I think September 5th, when Montana De La Rosa fights Marina Moroz, we're going live.
Let's do it.
And this is not a slight. This is not a slight. We're probably gonna have to do the prelims because that's probably gonna be like a prelim fight. But we gotta, and I know, and that's not a slight. I'm not. They're unranked. Well, Moroz is unranked. There's no disrespect there. I'm saying probably is gonna be. And typically we only do main card when we do it.
Oh, Ed, you slick little motherfucker! I'm looking right at you. I'm not even looking at John. I was looking at you.
What did you say?
I was listening to John, but I was looking at you. Yeah, you ain't slick.
What did you say?
He's like, oh, a number 12 fighter. I mean, what do you think?
Huh.
Yeah, I heard him. It's all good though.
We're going live. We're going live that night.
Hey, but real quick, guys, before we shut this thing down, we've been on here for 2 hours and 15 fucking minutes.
Oh, we're hitting
Marcus Bell. Oh, dude, we're hit. Oh, absolutely. Marcus Bell. I'm gonna ask you something, Marcus Bell. You remember all that time ago when I first started mentioning them names? You told me she would never do well in the UFC, Marcus Bell. How do you feel about that? How do you feel seeing a number next to De La Rosa's name? How do you feel knowing that realistically in a wide open division that she's only just a couple of wins away from getting where she needs to be? Just so y'all know, when it happens, don't be surprised. And I'm done talking about it.
Can I just say one thing?
Say it.
Montana De La Rosa and Cynthia Calvillo fought back in 2017, and Cynthia Calvillo won via TKO.
Yeah, that was back then. Cynthia Calvillo also beat Jillian Robertson back in the day too. Do you honestly think that Cynthia Calvillo?
Let's have this conversation. Is Cynthia Calvillo top 5 women ever? Is she higher than Valentina?
Fuck no. What kind of question is that?
I don't know.
What kind of question is that?
I don't know how crazy we were trying to get here. I don't know. I was trying
to listen.
Underrated. Hold on. And I'm obviously kidding that she's like top 5 or ahead of Valentina or any of that kind of shit. But when you look at Cynthia Calvillo's resume, she beat Aspen Ladd in amateur. She beat Jillian Robertson and Montana De La Rosa before she got to the UFC. In the UFC, she's beaten Amanda Cooper, Pearl Gonzalez, Joanne Calderwood,
trash,
Esparza, and then has a draw against Rodriguez and beats Jessica. Beat Courtney Casey. Those are some good names. I think you think that like 3 fighters are good. Montana De La Rosa, Jillian Robertson, and
Miesha Tate.
And Miesha. Well, she's retired.
You guys are fucking crazy. No, but when it comes to 125 pounds, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. The most exciting and the best looking fighters.
John, BJ needs to understand it's okay. Some people can have ranks next to their names. I mean, hey, even John Dodson has a number next to his name. That doesn't mean he's going to get a title shot. It's okay if Montana De La Rosa has a number next to her name. It doesn't mean she's going to get a title shot, BJ. Slow it down.
But you guys bring up Cynthia Calvillo.
Her in the division because Cynthia Calvillo went in there and destroyed. Well, she didn't really destroy Jessica.
She kind of did. She kind of did.
She went in there and destroyed the former champion. Not former champion challenger.
Former title challenger.
Yeah.
Well, do you think Calvillo would beat? Do you think she would beat Jillian Robertson again? Do you really think Cynthia Calvillo will go out there?
Like if we got off this, or even right now, we got the notification. Ariel Helwani posts a little poster, and then next to each other, I'm going with Cynthia Calvillo today.
That's a good fight.
Wow.
Though. That's a good fight.
Wow.
That's a good fight for sure. I would lean Calvillo against Robertson or De La Rosa. Leaning Calvillo.
Well, okay, so let me ask you this question about De La Rosa. This is the last question I want to ask you guys. When you look at Montana De La Rosa fight, what is it about her fight style that you guys is not good enough for championship level material? I don't understand. For me, like it's a difference between a fighter like Valentina Shevchenko, who is a specialist. Valentina Shevchenko is a specialist. Now you have this new breed of fighters coming in that are MMA fighters. They train MMA. They train all aspects of this. Montana De La Rosa can take a fight wherever it goes. If it goes on the feet, she can land big shots on the feet. If it goes to the ground, she can dominate on the ground. What is the problem?
But you look at Montana De La Rosa's record, and like don't get me wrong, Montana De La Rosa is like a good fighter for sure, for sure. She deserves to be ranked. But you look at like who she's fought.
And who she's, John, come on.
Her three toughest fights, like let's exclude, she lost her first 2 fights of her career. Let's exclude those. But the other 3 losses that she has in her career are to Mackenzie Dern, Cynthia Calvillo, and Andrea Lee. Those are the toughest 3 fights that she's had. She beats Mara Romero Barella. She beats Nadia Kazem. She beats Rachel Ostovich. You know, she's fighting some wildly attractive opponents. But like, is that like,
those
you know what I'm saying? Like, we're saying that Valentina has to prove it against 125ers, and then we're like ready to crown Montana De La Rosa, who's beaten Mara.
No. But okay, well let's look at Valentina's resume at 125 pounds. Let's look at Valentina's flyweight resume. She beats Priscilla Cachoeira. She beats Priscilla Cachoeira. She beats Priscilla, who was an Invicta girl. She beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk, a strawweight. She beat Caitlin Chukagian, a reject from 135 pounds. And she beat Jessica Ai, a reject from 135 pounds. And she beat, what's her name? Liz Carmouche, a reject who Miesha Tate beat up. Everybody beat up Liz Carmouche at 135 pounds. And we're calling her the best fighter in the division. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we're calling Valentina. But apply that same logic to Montana De La Rosa's record.
Beating the best fighters in the division. If anything, she lost to the fighters who were ahead of her in the division, sir.
Right. And like, how can you say like that? How can you discredit what Valentina has done based on, what you deem to be a weak level of opponent, and then apply that same logic to Montana De La Rosa and be like, that's the girl to beat her. That's where my disconnect is.
This is what I see when I make these statements, bro. It's not just like I'm winging these statements. I'm not just pulling this out of left field and saying, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's reason
to this, my friend.
Like when you look at, for me, styles make matchups, bro. Styles. That's why I say things like, Tatiana Suarez is a threat to anybody at the top of 115 pounds. The style of fight that Tatiana Suarez presents to those girls is a dangerous style of fighting. I see that same thing in a fighter like Montana De La Rosa. If you watch De La Rosa,
please hold on.
Huh?
This is UFC 229 talk here. Look at the comments. Oh my God. Stamina.
This is complete bullshit. You're actually lucky I'm not on this stream. You couldn't say half of this in front of me. You guys. I don't understand.
Listen. BJ, the one good thing is when you are out on an island like you are on this.
Say what?
When you're out on an island like you are on this particular topic.
Hold on.
Anthony, can you hear me?
Hold on, guys. I think the stream got all weird.
We can hear you. Man. He just can't hear us.
Oh, you should.
I can hear you.
You.
All right, yeah, we're good. So I'm saying is the one good thing, I guess. Now I can hear myself. All right, I think we're good. The one good thing about you being out on an island like you are on this is that if you are right, then you get to make fun of all of us for sure. Like you get to do Adesanya and you know what I'm saying? But I just don't see it happening. I don't see it. I'm sorry.
It's okay, man. It's okay. It's okay to think that, dude. I'm totally cool with that. I'm not. One thing that I'm not doing is I'm not looking for validation. I'm not looking for people to say, "Oh yeah, BJ, you're right." Like it's a gut feeling that I had when this division first started. I was like, okay, this girl is good. This girl has potential. I watched these girls on Tough. You know, Jillian Robinson kind of took me by surprise because I seen her get beat up on Tough. So I was like, you know, she may or may not be good. De La Rosa, on the other hand, like when I seen her battle with Nico Montano, man, and you know what I'm saying, how she toughed it out, you know, so I'm like, man, this girl is tough. Then I seen her come in. I'm like, okay, well, she was made out to be a wrestler on The Ultimate Fighter. She comes into the UFC. She boxes up these girls. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, this girl is good. This girl is good. You know what I'm saying? And then she keeps winning. And then everybody's like, okay, but she still sucks. And I'm like, okay.
No, I mean, I feel like I'm trying to be nice here, and I don't know, but we disagree. Like that's fine. Like, and you know, time will tell. It's just
boxes up these girls. You know, I'm like, okay, it's just what, man. You good, man? You don't have to agree with me.
I know,
man. BJ,
but I stand where I stand.
And I'll say this.
COSTA,
I predicted
on the same page with you here.
I predicted that Juliana Pena would be the flyweight champion by the end of the year. I thought she was going to go down to flyweight and beat Valentina. So, like, you know.
Which is possible. That's possible.
I don't think so. She just got a bantamweight fight. Like, she's probably not going to go down, fight Valentina.
It's not possible for her to do it. It's not possible for her to do it this year, but it's possible for her to go to 125 and beat Valentina. That's not a far-fetched statement.
That's the dark horse.
Exactly. And to see a contender rise to the occasion and become the champion against all odds. We've seen this story happen over and over and over. So why now? But in foresight, not hindsight, in foresight, why are we blind to that? In foresight, but in hindsight, we'd be like, okay, well, yeah, she was a good. Let's say she does go in there and beat Valentina. Okay, Montana was a good fighter. Everybody would be saying, okay, yeah, she's well-rounded. She is good. She is good. Yeah, okay, I see why she beat Valentina. But in foresight, everybody's like, you know, when you have a contender blazing through the division like that, everybody's like, oh, no. Like,
who's that woman, though? Who's that woman that's blazing through the division? That's why I said, and I was proven to be wrong at UFC 245, and I didn't say that she was better than Valentina, but I said that, in my opinion, Viviane Araújo, just based strictly off of her power, if she had looked really good against Jessica Ai at UFC 245 and even like knocked her out, like let's say she knocked her out, like that's a woman who, if you put her in front of Valentina, like we're all saying that Valentina is the better MMA fighter. Valentina is probably going to win, but she has an attribute. She has knockout power. And if she connects on Valentina, that makes you a little bit excited for that fight. More so, I think, than a lot of these other women that Valentina has been fighting against. Then she goes in there and, you know, gets dominated by Jessica Ai. And it's like, all right, I was very wrong about that because I thought she was going to win that fight. And I thought that's
exactly how I feel, John. That's right. Where you felt that, okay, there's something that Viviane Araújo has that could be very interesting in the fight against Valentina Shevchenko. You know what I'm saying? Knockout power. Flip the page to Montana De La Rosa. Okay, you have a strong fighter. You have a big fighter. You have a fighter who is very good on the ground. And you have a fighter who knows how to use her range and land big shots on the feet. That could cause a problem for Valentina Shevchenko. that can, and then a fighter like Jillian Robertson, nobody is going to outgrapple Jillian Robertson. You know, not even Valentina Shevchenko. Her grappling is not as good as Jillian Robertson's. You may be stronger than Jillian Robertson, but she's not technically better than Jillian Robertson on the ground. Jillian Robertson would dominate Valentina in a fight on the ground. It is what it is. And there's attributes and skill sets of Montana De La Rosa that greatly benefit her in a fight with Valentina Shevchenko. Like I said, the long range, the size, the power, the ground game, those are all huge factors when you assess Montana De La Rosa against anybody, including Valentina Shevchenko. Valentina Shevchenko is very much a part of this division as Priscilla Cachoeira is. She's not someone that's fighting outside of this division. She's fighting in this division. We have to quit talking about her like she's a unicorn. She's not a unicorn. People thought Antonina, if the foresight on Antonina Shevchenko was that Antonina was going to be the next best thing at 125 pounds. And what has happened to Antonina Shevchenko now that we look back at it in hindsight? Got her ass beat from top to bottom.
Can I just say that I'm uncomfortable with the Priscilla Cachoeira slander? In my opinion, like she's my favorite fighter at 125 pounds. I mean,
I like Priscilla, man. I like Priscilla.
She's like one of those things that you just like punch and it like the sand things and it just like comes right back up to you. Like that's what she is. But like I love her so much. Her fights are so awesome. They're always entertaining.
Man.
She's probably gonna lose, but like she's an entertaining fighter for sure. And when she got that knockout in her last fight and she was like crying, best moment in 2020 so far, I think. Yeah. Like that moment was beautiful. I love Priscilla Cachoeira. I just had to get that off my chest. But she got the shit kicked out of her against Valentina Shevchenko.
Oh, absolutely. She should not have been in there with Valentina. And what makes it so funny about the Priscilla Cachoeira, we've been on here 2.5 hours. We're closing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What makes it so funny is that Montana De La Rosa's name was on the table before the Priscilla Cachoeira fight, and so was Jennifer Maya's name, and they rather put Priscilla Cachoeira in there with Valentina. At least the fight with Montana De La Rosa at that time would have been a more competitive fight than Priscilla Cachoeira's was. Would have been a much more competitive fight. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's weird, man. It is what it is. It is what it is.
For sure.
It is what it is. But
you are one crazy fella, my friend.
I am crazy, bro. And that's what, and Marcus Bell, y'all can stand in the MC, y'all can say what y'all want to, but y'all keep coming back. So it is what it is. Y'all keep coming back, so it is what it is.
That's what matters, right, BJ?
Say what?
That's what matters, right?
Exactly, man. You got to be controversial. I'm not trying to be controversial. I guess I really am the Black Chael Sonnen. Because I'm really not trying to be controversial.
No, he's the white BJ. Come on, he's the white BJ.
Yeah, he's the white BJ. I'm just really being honest here. Like I can only be honest, and I'm just being honest. So
we'll see. We'll find out what happens. September 5th, we'll go live. We'll go live on September 5th. Montana De La Rosa versus Marina Moroz.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna break it down frame by frame.
I'm ready. I'll be locked in.
All right, guys. Hey, like I told y'all before, jump over to Bloody Canvas MMA and subscribe to your boy John and Ant. And there's a host of other guys over there at Bloody Canvas. Follow those guys.
We gotta get you in a video soon over there.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Come on, DJ. What's the hold up, man? Come on.
We got to
come on.
I'm always down, bro. I'm always down. Always down to bring the heat. But guys, this is your boy, of course, BJ, and I was joined by the best. Like I said, I would always be. This is your boy BJ back from No Filter MMA. Drop those comments in the comment section. Hit that like button. Hit that dislike button if you didn't give a fuck what I was talking about. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And I'm out. We out. Peace.